Does anyone else like a little bit of a Dune tournament casted stream? Ah, not the smoothest intro, but here we are. It's not the smoothest start. We're in the middle of the game already. Just got back home, found myself with some free time today. Thought we might throw up a random live stream, and lo and behold, we have ourselves the third open tournament for the Dune circuit is going on today, and I was able to hop into a game in a spectator slot. We are already on month 5, almost month 6 here. So we're just gonna roll along. We're gonna roll along, and I'm gonna comment on our game here. And after this I believe this is the group stage, and after this we ought to have a finals, and we're gonna do the finals as well. There you go, a little bit of Spice Wars for you. And I was monkeying a bit with my streaming settings, so if there's stuff looks weird or I sound weird or something, please shout out, let me know, and we'll get it resolved. All right, where are we at? What's going on? What is this crazy place here? We've got 4 players signed up for an open tournament, so this is all comers. And then if you make it to the final 4, you get an invite to the invitational tournament. And this is prize money tournaments. I think there's maybe 50, I don't know for sure. $50 on the line for the open tournament, and then if you make it to the invitational, it's like a couple $100, something like that. Maybe our only moneyed Dune tournaments, but they attract some pretty good talent. Jim the Fish, welcome. Yes, always happy to see you. I'm doing well. Thank you for checking in, my man. What's going on here? We got I'm Magic on Carino. Minx is playing the Fremen. We've got Brendan Von Mar over on Atreides, and KZ Salt 84 BP on House Ekaz. And like I said, we're already rocking here. We are almost month 6, so we're into the nitty gritty already. We can see that Carino's been making moves. He has set up shop right in the middle of the map. A little earlier, he just chased off the Fremen who were there. Our Fremen friends look like they're having a bit of a rough time. If we check out our faction summary here, we can see Ekaz is actually sitting in the lead by about 3k on hegemony right now, and a whole bucket of Landsred standing. We've got at 17% Chom on Atreides, 17 on the Fremen, 19 on Carino. So Chom heavily contested. Unlikely to see a Chom victory when you've got 3 people that are sort of equal in shares. And we've got some action here. We've already got Carino has been battling away at the Fremen, and the Ekaz are taking this opportunity to come and kick the Fremen while they're down. And the Carino are jumping into. Poor Minx on the Fremen is getting double teamed and did nothing to deserve it, is just sitting on some choice territory that other people want. We can also see that the Atreides over here got pretty boxed in on some relatively suboptimal land. They've got a special region down here. They've got Sandfall, which is nice enough, but then, you know, a couple of spice fields. They did secure a 3rd spice field north, and they've continued to expand north, and they took Acid Lakes. So they're trying to do something, but they got a whole lot of deep desert that's kind of stuck them in this weird sort of snaky empire, and then they're already boxed out of the middle. Oh, Ekaz over here is just pillaging. Interesting. That's strange to be so militarily aggressive at this point in the game just to pillage something, but he wants his money. Pay those bills. We see the Ekaz sort of continuing to expand north. That's the only territory really available to them unless they want to fight for the mid. And they probably ought to. We see Ekaz is pushed up to 20k. They're looking in a good spot. KZ Salt 84 BP. I'm not familiar with KZ as a player, but they're looking like they're in a commanding position here, but I like the Carino spot a lot as well. So the Fremen spawned over here, and strangely enough, they've got this deep desert down to the south of them, but they did not get a deep desert to the north. So this is the Desolation spawned up here, which is kind of deep desert-ish, but you don't get to surround that. So there's just all this weird open land in between the Fremen and everybody else. Okay, so Carino snagged this special region, the Moondew Vale as well. Carino looking real good there. And they've gone back home. I imagine they're probably going to do some pillaging of this other territory they don't want, unless they're saving it. At this point in time, by month 6, you might be saving it, not pillaging it in order to make it eligible for some late game land grabs. You can see this one they'd pillaged in the past. It's got 18 days left, and this debuff will fall off, causing it to cost twice as much for them to annex. If they want to do some sort of hedge race eventually, some sort of minor hedge boom, you need cheap territories nearby that you can grab, and they won't be cheap if you pillage them. But if you do pillage them, you get money. How are people doing on the money? Chome markets, everyone's pretty even on the Chome market. Carino's sitting on almost 8K in Solari. ECA's sitting on 17K. Atreides kind of broke. Fremen's super broke. Atreides have no Solari, but they at least have an income. Fremen have not a lot of Solari and not a lot of income. They've been getting beaten up. They do look like they must have gotten their harvester killed here. They've got 1 spice, 2 spice, 3 spice at least on the Fremen, and if they get another harvester out here without getting shot by the ECAs, they'd have 4 spice. So there's some spice to work with, but they are just too light on the land. Mink says it's a race between you two. So we've got the ECAS Carino stare down here, and we got a ways to go, right? ECAS has climbed up to 22. I wonder if they went attacking because they were farming hedge with champions. Who do they have here? They do have Whitmore. So they've got Whitmore here and a Knight Champion. And this Knight Champion's sitting on 6 trophies. There's a free 600 hedge. Whitmore over here sitting on 18 trophies. There's 1,800 hegemony there. Very nice. So you guys, that might have been when they went up to pillage, right? I said that seemed unusual, but it's not unusual if you were just trying to farm some militia or some troops to pull a little extra hegemony, some champion trophies for your troops. It's interesting. Atreides wins on Gov. Yeah, there's some back talk in the lobby. Ekaz has a special in his back. We need to stop him. I don't think Atreides is winning on Gov anytime soon. They are not into the triple blue. They have a lot of, they're making 25 influence actually, so they're making almost as much as the entire lobby put together. So, but they don't look like, even though they've got Judge and Water Sellers and Eye of the Council, you're not going to hold the governorship if people don't want you to. I don't think governor is in play here, but you never know. These sorts of things could happen. The Carino position's looking nice. Looks like they're cleaning up baddies in the backfield. They had some couple renegade bases around. They're sending raids at people. Atreides, I don't know what they're up to. If we check on resources, Ekaz are sitting on a whole lot of authority, and they are mostly out of stuff to expand. They could still head to the east here, and you know, if they're still in the mood of beating up Fremen, they could definitely do that. It does look like they're headed west, though. I guess he didn't like that the Atreides were talking crap about his secret sanctuary special region back here. He might go and try and fight some Atreides. What's the armies look like here? You guys are sitting out as a maxed out 65 CP, 62 for the Atreides. Yeah, that would be a decent fight, actually. I don't think I would necessarily pick that right off the bat. We do see Carino moving up. Atreides are flying down. We got some trouble. We got some trouble going on. Ekaz might be about to... And here come the Fremen as well. Ekaz has drawn some heat. Will I play today? I don't know if I'm playing today. We're going to be casting this game, and then we're going to cast the finals game, and after that we'll see how I feel. I've got a lot of time, but I don't know. After casting 2 games, I don't know if I'm going to want to play a Dune game. I might play other games. I'll be around a lot. There'll be a lot of content today. We'll see what we get. Ekaz jumping in on the Fremen, who came up to try to take some territory. And that's wise. I think the Fremen are on the back foot, and they haven't really got the resources or the setup really to contest the full Ekaz army. But that is given space for Carino to come in. They are liberating. They're moving for a second liberate. We got Atreides to the west. Ekaz is chasing a little too deep here. I guess they want to fight and farm up some more champion trophies is what I could tell. But they're going to lose a bunch of territory for it. they're going to be in trouble here. And this is only good for Carino. Ikaz walking into the Carino base. This is interesting. He's got to be just farming up the militia just to get some more trophies. He just wants trophies. Annexing? No, you don't want to annex that, my man. Maybe you could pillage it. Carino is coming back to set up to defend himself. He's got a couple of hammers here. He's got a decent army. Let me see this. Yeah, he's maxed out 65 CP, but he's a little spread out here, while as the Ikaz army is tightly condensed. And as long as they don't run out of supplies, I would expect them... Oh, actually the missile turrets are cutting them up pretty bad. They're going to be in trouble. These hammers are going to make short work of this stack. Oh, Ikaz are in big trouble. Yeah, the hammers are coming in. Oh, I think they've just stood under these double missile turrets here too long and just took too many shots. Oh no, Whitmore's down, their champion's down. Whitmore is going to go down, and that is going to put them straight to the pits. Minus 1700 hegemony if Whitmore dies. And die he will. Die he will. He's a crazy tank, actually. There it is. All right. Whitmore's down. This is getting annexed. Atreides are helping themselves to another spice field. That's wise. And the Fremen see some free real estate. Meanwhile, we've got 2 liberates. Ooh, it's going to be a real kick between the legs for poor House Ikaz here. Full wipe of their army, lost all of their champions and all of their acquired hegemony there. Fremen are going to help themselves to at least 2 territories here, I think. Or maybe 1, maybe a liberate, who knows. They're going to be down 4-ish territory. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 territories down. And the Atreides didn't hear no bell either. They're coming in for more territory. Oh, the Ikaz are... Ooh, you show a sign of weakness, and it's just... Ooh, there's some blood in the water, and the sharks are right there. Tough beat. I was saying that KZ looked like he was in a good spot there. He was sitting on a lot of stuff, a lot of champion trophies, looking in a good spot for some hegemony. But I think this is probably maybe a bit of an overreaction. He didn't need to be kicked down that much. But again, this is mostly good for Carino, and it's good for Atreides. I don't know that I would even do this liberate, other than it's just kind of mean. Ikaz, of course, with the slower training, only has 4 slots for training, so it takes them a long time to rebuild their army. Yeah, ooh, he's gonna be hurting. He's gonna be hurting for a while. He'll eventually be able to retake this one and that one if, you know. Oh, Atreides are still going. This is brutal. There's no chance of Ikaz being able to stop this full Atreides stack. Not for, I don't know, a month or more, and he could lose 2 or 3 more territories before that happens. This is rough. I mean, at this point, I'd like to see more expansion from our Fremen friends, but they might be tight on authority. They are. They're only making +9, the least in the lobby. That's rough. We've got 10 from Carino, 11 a day from the Atreides. Ikaz are flush with a huge bank of authority, but they don't have the troops to actually do anything about that. They're going to need that authority to retake. Yep, Atreides are going to hold this easy. Ikaz's 4 guys aren't going to be able to do anything here as long as Atreides are paying attention. He's sort of paying attention. But these 2 territories are definitely getting liberated, and it's going to be hard times for our friends in pink. Atreides, Carino will win, calls out the Ikaz, and he's not wrong. He's not wrong. The trouble with kicking someone down this much is that they're not going to be able to help you against the very next big bad guy, and you might well need some help there. Diplomatic Congress would be a huge win if Ikaz could get it passed, because that would allow, and they've got the votes for it actually, that allows them to cancel these 2 liberations that are taking place. This would be huge. Carino changed this resolution scope to all factions. It doesn't really matter whether it's all factions or one faction, because Ikaz is sitting on by far the most votes. I expect them to claim diplomatic congress. That'll save both of their territories. Yep, there it is. And will hugely frustrate the Atreides, who spend a lot of time and money marching out here. There we go. Okay. Ikaz managed to save their western regions. They did drop this spice region. They did lose 2 liberated regions to Carino, and they did lose this just sort of empty nothing region up there to the Fremen. The Fremen backed off. They didn't do anything to the other special over there. So not as horribly crippled as they could have been. Liberation is flying. Or not liberation. Blah, blah. Diplomacy is flying fast and furious between folks. Everybody wants to kill Carino now. Carino is sitting on, ooh, they're booming, 78 passive hegemony. They have pulled the trigger. They are going for it. They are annexing over here. We've got the base drop here next to this special. Only 1 craft workshop there. Yep, he's Urulon, so I would expect this to get changed into a second craft workshop. I'm sort of surprised it's not already. We got a craft workshop down here. We got a craft workshop over there. Double craft workshops here. That's what I like to see. Yeah, they're just sitting on so many special regions. Here come the Atreides, headed way up north to push the northern front. Fremen could fight to the east, but Ikaz are really still rebuilding. They're only up to 40 CP. You don't want to fight without maxing out your command points. Fremen, are you ready? Ikaz is working as the general, though. He's doing a lot of public chatting with people. Says he's got breaches. All right, they're gonna try for some base kills on Carino. That's absolutely what you should do. If Carino is looking dangerous, one of the best ways you can just hamstring a Carino player is killing their forward base. Okay, looks like Atreides are going in. Carino's coming back. They want to go and fight. You know what I don't need? I guess I can't change various filters. I wanted to see just airfield filters, but what I don't care about is missile battery filters, but I'll have to figure it out somewhere. Atreides are backing off. I think they're actually running out of supplies is their problem. They are thirsty. The Wardens, though they've got 13 armor and almost 1,000 hit points, outrageously tanky, and they don't got any water, they're gonna die. Ikaz still rebuilding, can't really do anything about it. Fremen sitting over here, not eager to engage yet. So it was the right move of the Atreides to pull back. You don't want to commit to it, but we are in the danger zone. 78 hegemony a day means that Magic is gonna be making, every 10 days is 780. Every month is what, 2100, 22, 2300? 2300 hegemony every month. So if he does, that's a long time. He's gonna need to hold for like 2 months without anything bad happening. And then you figure as long as he's paying spice taxes during those times, he would have it just fine. There's not a lot of spice on this Carino play though. Is he honestly on 1 spice? That's crazy. He's doing so well for 1 spice. I was looking at the spice totals. He's making 46 a day, which is not much. He's rocking the 1 spice, 2 spice Ikaz, 4 Atreides and Fremen. Okay, Fremen are going in. They're picking on the front line here, killing some militia. This is a tough nut to crack though. We've got missile turret, missile turret. Only 2 right next to each other, but that's still, it hurts to fight into. Especially, it's really extra rough for the Fremen, because Fremen armies tend to be so melee heavy. Melee? Not melee. Melee, as people are always criticizing me of. The melee armies of the Fremen tend to be stacked on top of each other, right? They all want to be right next to each other, stabbing the bad guys. And the missile turrets do splash damage. So they're getting huge value. So something you often want to do, missile turrets will by default target the closest unit to them. So something you often want to do if you're Fremen attacking into other bases that have lots of missile turrets and stuff. You kind of want to send, and down comes the orbital strike along the middle, but they're going to be able to avoid most of that. It's only in this middle region here. So you see the ECAS dodge to the right, and they get out of the orbital strike. The Fremen are only going to be orbital struck if they come into the polar sink here. But anyways, what you want to do with your ECAS is you send like a single unit over to go and melee the missile turrets, and that makes them focus on just that single unit rather than focusing on your big blob of units taking that big AoE hits. Okay, ECAS are here to help. They are noble knights of their word. They've come up to help their Fremen against the foul Carino. Carino's making their way over, and honestly, this Carino army beats both of these armies right now, I think. It's gonna be pretty brutal as long as, you know, these 3 siege tanks get set up and they start lobbing bombs in. It's gonna be real hard to beat. However, the Atreides army coming back in the backfield, and that would be tricky to deal with. Carino going in. We got a proper fight. The siege drones are we're set up a little too far back, and they're not getting shots in. We need those moved up, or we need the army pulled back a bit in order to make the siege drones. Okay, so now some of the Fremen have gotten close enough that the siege drones are firing, but I think they're still in a good spot here. I think this is a Carino win. There's a lot of guys, but they're going down the front line because they've got a couple of Landsrad Guardians who are doing a nice job holding. Yep, I think Carino's gonna get this. Got a hammer down. Oh, but the mobile turret's doing a nice job dealing with the hammers. It's gonna be a knockdown drag out. It's gonna be tight. I think there's gonna be some heavy losses. We're just about out of frontline units for Carino, but they've broken the back of the ECAS. The ECAS are running. There's another wave of Fremen coming in. Architectural surveys are up. Carino changes it to all factions, but that's not what Carino wants to see have come up. That makes a base kill against them way more viable. Atreides are still dying without water here. Can we see how much water they have? They've got 15, which is not the worst, but they are definitely thirsty. Thirsty. Can we check operations? They are prepping a supply drop. They're gonna need it. If there's not one down here already, and there is not, these guys all gotta get on the circle. The circle will give them supplies as they siege it, but some of these guys are already dying because they don't have enough. Operations, what else do we have here? Nothing exciting. Everyone's sitting on decoy thumpers just in case. Ceasefire in Atreides' hands. Admin burden for the ECAS. Now would be the time actually to drop it down on Carino. You can see he's already starting to train up. He needs a new line of conscripts to come up. He did win that fight. Even with the second wave of Fremen coming in, there's not enough to unseat these siege drones in the back especially. Carino holds all of his front lines against the ECAS and against the Fremen, but he's got some pesky Atreides in the backfield. Now, you could deal with this because you could tell they're so low on water. You get your siege drones up here, you start siege droning, dropping bombs on them, forcing them to come out of the siege, and then they're going to die from lack of water. There's the supply drop finally, so that threat will be a bit mitigated. Carino is down. They're making up some more frontline troops, but they're only at 54 CP right now, and the Atreides army, of course, except for being thirsty there, didn't actually lose anybody, and they're sitting at the full 65. So we're working on reconstituting the Carino army. This got ceasefired, so they actually can't shoot the Atreides from here. They need to walk into another territory, and then they could shoot. And meanwhile, the Atreides have engaged. Nice. I think I like that. That keeps the siege drones honest, so they can't sit back in the base and shoot in. They've got to move out here to shoot. But it's a good choke point for Carino. But the Atreides are hard to bust. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know what's going to go on here. I feel like this choke point is really beneficial because these siege drones do big AoE damage once they start dropping their bombs here. But the Atreides are outrageously tanky. If anyone can do it, they can here. And I think they've still got the military advantage. Yep, nobody's dead yet for the Atreides. Despite a lot of bombs popping in, they've got a support drone here who's sucking up all of the dead people before they're all the way dead. They're only mostly dead. When they're all the way dead, there's only one thing you could do: go through their pockets and look for loose change. But only mostly dead, he could bring them back and heal them up. They are quite hurt, but it looks like the Atreides are going to hold this. They have killed just about all... we're going to lose a Carino when Sissia's going to get wrecked. She was out of her element there, way too far up. And that is an annex. The Atreides is suddenly looking okay. And Fremen took this time to get in there and get a couple of liberates on these. Are they still light on authority? They need to be annexed and stuff. There's just not enough Fremen land. You know, key to the Fremen is really just taking a lot of territory. Liberates are, of course, always good, but you'd like to make it your own, especially this one. This is very valuable. The Moondew Vale, the special regions. At this point in the game, month 7, month 8, special regions are worth their weight in gold. The Ekaz have slightly reconstituted their army, and they've come back up to help their Fremen friends. The Atreides looking real good, still at 65 CP. I don't think they really lost anybody. Or if they did, they rebuilt them so quickly. They managed to unload the wounded from their support drones and heal them back up. They are fully online and operational with that army. And Carino's in trouble here. Much like our Ekaz friends just lost a whole bunch of territory from the dreaded 3v1, so too does Carino fall. They took too many casualties. It's going to take them a while to rebuild their army. They're still waiting for more conscripts and incinerators and things to come back online. Maybe with some careful... Okay, so they did. With some careful artillery drone play, they managed to save the Polar Sink in the middle. They chased off the Fremen and the Ekaz. The Ekaz are extending a bit too much. They're running out of supplies because this is, it's not their siege. It's far from home. They did manage to re-grab the 2 territories that had been liberated from them. I don't know what their plan is, though. They're in a bit of a pickle here. Let's check out our faction summary. Okay, so Carino's down to only 41 today. That's a far cry from the 70 plus they were making before. Atreides and Ekaz both at 37 a day, which is respectable. No daily hedge from the Fremen, which is not good. I guess they don't have any special regions, which would explain that. Can we see? Yep, they've got valuable trinkets. They just don't have any special regions. Ooh, brutal. They're virtually not a player in the win cons here. I gotta say, Atreides are looking in a pretty good spot. And I say that because Fremen can't get to them, really. They're too far away. Ekaz can just kind of poke at some of these southern regions, which will be tough to take. I mean, I guess they'll be normal, but it's sort of very narrow walking territory, and you never like to fight into the Atreides. Atreides are looking good as long as they can keep the lobby aggroed on Carino. And Carino are doing their best. They have reconstituted their force here. We've got a pretty chunky force of Fremen and Ekaz, but they don't know what to do about these siege drones. They don't want to dive too deeply, and the siege drones are happy to just lob in liquid death from the distance. And it takes too long to siege things down. They can't just absorb hits like that. So as long as Carino is careful and patient here... Oh, we got sandworms coming. The decoy thumper went down. The artillery drones could be in danger. I think sandworms will lead artillery drones. And an orbital strike comes down, also from Carino. I don't think the orbital strike was necessary there. I think you had already kind of chased them off. What's going on with the Atreides? They're back here picking on renegades. I'm sort of surprised they're not burning down more Carino territory. We got Landsrat up again. So nobody took that opportunity to burn a base down from the previous Landsrat Council. I think it passed. Let's see. Let's see what we've got. Punishers. I wish Punishers were good, but they never really do anything. This is not the danger to a base that those architectural surveys are, right? 2 guys that do a little bit extra 200% more damage against main bases. I wish this was like 6 guys that did 200% more damage. That would be impactful. That would actually spur you to try and go and blow up a base with them. Judge of the Council's no big deal. Atreides already have that, so somebody else voted it up in order to make sure that Atreides weren't getting what they wanted. We do see Dune governorship is voted above the 50 level of priority, meaning that could come up for some governor play. And the only one doing anything politically at this point really is Atreides at 31 influence and sitting on a gargantuan bank here. Loss of rights is up, and loss of rights passes, but the Atreides managed to re-win Judge of the Council. So they lose Water Seller and Eye of the Council. They spend a huge chunk of their votes, but they're going to get a lot of that back. We'll see. And looks, governorship's going to come up next, but with Ikaz being Speaker of the Council, Ikaz is invested in Triple Blue, actually. Maybe they see their way forward as political. Meanwhile, on the front lines, tentative peace. How much water do you have, Ikaz? You're staying... I guess Ikaz are sitting on 33 water, which is a lot. So they are comfortable being far from home, and they're goading the Fremen into an attack. Fremen have stealthed, and they're going for the stealth attack on the drones. They've identified the big problem as the siege drones, so they're going to try and take them out first. Ikaz, however, need to go help fight the army and not just the militia here. Okay, they are. Good, good, good. Well done, everybody. Well done. I like what's going on here. This definitely puts Carino in a pickle. Carino would much rather have... Fremen are going to take some heavy losses, but the drones are effectively down. Maybe that one might live? Yeah, okay, one drone lives. But they didn't help fight. Oh, we got a worm coming. Will the worm turn the tides? Did somebody thump her? I don't see any thumpers. It looks like everybody got onto the sink, which the worms can't navigate through the rocky ground around the sink, so they should be a-okay there. It's looking like finally enough Ikaz got retrained that they've been able to... oh no, the Fremen are out of water, and the siege is an Ikaz siege, so there's nothing for the Fremen to drink. They've got to run home before they all die. One guy down from thirst. Looks like the rest of them will make it, but the Fremen took that on the chin in order to chase the Carino off of it. Carino rebuilding. Whole bunch of guys. They'll be back online in just a little bit here. Will it be in time to fight the Ikaz off? Ikaz are sitting on 61 CP, so they're basically a full army there. Our Atreides friends are just hanging out. No, they lost a lot of guys. They must have gotten wormstruck or something, because they were way, way down on CP and retraining. Must have been a worm strike on the Atreides when we weren't watching. We do have admin burden on Carino, which is gonna make... I guess they got most of their guys out before that admin burden hit. They got that next wave out, so they're gonna try to contest it, but they're a tad light on the force here. A whole bunch of Sardaukar, but the siege drones were the ones that were really putting their thumb on the scale here against this big 2v. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this engagement, Carino. I would try to get out of here if I were you. This is not in your favor. You are wildly outnumbered and outgunned at this point. Sardaukar are fantastic, elite melee units, but there's a whole bunch of Ikaz and Fremen here. You're gonna need some AoE kind of damage in order to do anything about it. Oh, we got a nuke coming down. Carino says they want to keep this. We've also got an assassination just kicked off. Atreides assassinating the Carinos. Who just launched that? It was Carino themselves who nuked the middle so that it could not be taken from them. It's a bold move, Cotton. Effectively, what that does is it cancels out the siege that was on it. It leaves it devastated for 3 days, so they can't come back in to re-siege it for 3 days. But, you know, they will after that. It's not a lot of time to rebuild an army, and we're still low. We're gonna need several days to get another wave of conscripts, and then another wave of units after that. Carino is very fortunate that Atreides got wormstruck or decided that they're not interested in further twisting the dagger in the Carino back. Or rather they are. We have the very rare Atreides assassination attempt here. And I don't know if it's gonna work. Let's switch over to an Atreides point of view. I think it's... Okay, we got an infiltration cell up here. And... where's our other one? In the middle. The Polar Sink has an infiltration cell. Okay, so... Carino ought to be able to find these. He's got a lot of stuff going on. He might be busy. He's got a lot going on, but if he does one search right here, it covers all of these regions. He'd be able to identify the cells there. If he does one search up here, it does all 4 of those regions, and that would be everything nearby to Carino. Oh, Atreides peacefully annexed over here, but the Fremen immediately move in and start sieging it down. No thank you, says they. They've been waiting for this special region back for a long time. I like that cheeky, peaceful annex. Oh, and we've got Ikaz jumping on the Atreides down south as well, trying to take back their spice field. Alright, so we've got some breathing room for Carino, assuming they don't get assassinated. And I don't think it's been detected. Oh, it has been detected. Oh, that's a very early detection. That's going to be tough. I think, and with the pressure taken off of Carino, I think they ought to be able to find this. It looks like he's got his troops spread out a bit, so we'll see if Atreides are going to fight. They want to defend their territory from Ikaz. I don't think they're going to be able to pull off this assassination. Nope, assassination is canceled already. Atreides rightfully said, never mind. Not known for being assassins, the green folks, because they can only ever put up 2 infiltration cells on you, and it's not too hard to find 2. If you gotta find 3, that could be a bit dicey. If you gotta find 4, because it's the smugglers, that's probably bad news. Back in the day, Vernius could put, I don't know, 6 or more on you, and it was damn near impossible to stop them all, but 2 is doable. 2 is doable. So that got canceled. Atreides are slightly in the lead on Hedge. Oh, we got a governorship up. Atreides could claim it, but the trouble is they won't hold it. They won't hold it, not at all. Yeah, I would expect... I mean, maybe they grab it just for fun? Actually, they might hold it now. Now that Carino has nuked and has lost all of his votes and all of his influence generation, and because the influence generation is so low on Ikaz and the Fremen, Atreides might be able to hold it. It might be a viable gov play. You know, loss of rights will come up, or Dune governorship will come up again, guaranteed. But Atreides might just muscle them out. They're making 29 a day of influence. It's going to be 20 days till the next Landsrad, so they're going to make another 600 or so influence. Yeah, I think they can. I think they will be able to muscle it out. These folks got to go kill the Atreides base. Carino, by nuking the middle, has given up his votes. And it looks like the Atreides army is going to hold this. Who was the Atreides? Brendan von Mar, looking in a commanding spot. As long as the worm doesn't eat him again. There it is. And down the drain go about 4 rangers. Oh, that never feels good. Well, this is suddenly a much more even fight, but I think it's still Atreides favored. They are looking still like a very sauced army here. And we don't have any buffing units to help out our knights and our mostly just squires. squares are tanky as all heck, but
Honor us, fair lady.
okay. Atreides are running because there's more worms coming, and they can't afford to get worm struck again. Interesting. I think they would have ground down that square army there, and they surely would have if... And the worms don't get him that time. They surely would have if the worm strike didn't take him out. Carino retaken their special region. Here's the danger, though. A special regions plus 1,600 puts Carino immediately up to 28, almost 29 once they finish annexing it. Wins our spice tax in 4 days? Oh my goodness. That might be game there, actually. Spice tax and the special, I think, is enough to push Carino into the win. If not, it's going to be just dozens of hedge away, and they're making 63 a day. That's... Ooh, this is getting liberated, but it's not getting liberated fast enough. I think that's a Carino win. Really nice timing to be able to snatch that special back just as the Atreides get stuck down there. Is it game over in 3 days? It's looking like it is to me. It's looking like a Carino win. Really nice hold from I Am Magic. Don't abandon your siege. Don't abandon your siege. What are you doing? What are you doing? No, he's walking away. Is this a mistake? Oh, he got Jessica'd. Oh, Brendan von Mar forced the peace. Cause Carino accepted the trade. Oh, the Atreides have saved the game. Oh my goodness. He says, you're lucky I have Jessica. Because that was indeed Carino victory. Spice tax is going to kick off in like a day here. That's going to be 1,200-ish. Normally it's 1,000, but of course they're sitting on the research center to add 20% to it. Oh my goodness. Carino then runs to the front line to fight the Fremen. If he's able to fight the Fremen off of this and take this special, he will win. No one's even contesting governorship particularly. If we take a look back at our Landsrad, okay, ECAS went back to triple blue buildings in their base, so they've got some extra votes to work with. Oh no, Brendan disconnected. For fuck's sake, says I Am Magic. Oh, that is not a great time for that. Oh man. Oh boy. Another quit. That's not a quit. I mean, Brendan was doing fine there. He's still on track to win in 19 days. I wish we had played our first game. So I think what happened was these guys had a game earlier and someone quit out of it or lost connection or rage quit or was it just a straight up leaver. Something happened and then this one got restarted. So the players are understandably a little frustrated. Darius, I thought Carino had that too. I wasn't thinking of the Jessica. A Jessica would have done it. A ceasefire would have bought some time at least, but they were just a day away from capping that. Oh boy. Waiting to see. Let me see if we can check the tourney talk. What's going on? There's lots of people jumping the gun saying, Brendan, if you leave, you're banned forever. There's no reason that Brendan would have left that voluntarily. He might have had a power outage or a disconnect or something happened. He was in a good position here. If Carino doesn't manage to annex a special territory, I think 19 days is enough to win, though the passive on Carino will be tricky to deal with. I think spice tax was just paid, so it's 24 days for another one of those. That's not going to make it. Yeah, 63 a day. If it's 19 days, that's not quite enough. That's like at 1,200. Oh, it actually would be terrifyingly close from passive hegemony. Brendan's back. All right. He says his Wi-Fi died. Relax, everybody. He's not leaving. He's not leaving. The Atreides are in it to win it. So I did the math, and in 19 days, right? Hold on. Where are we at? Let me click. Which button am I clicking? 19 days of 630 is just shy of 1260, and 1300 is victory. I think Governor wins before passive Carino hegemony wins, but oh, it would be extremely close. And it's only if the Fremen are able to keep Carino from annexing this. If Carino gets this annex and it's looking like they have beaten the Fremen off, they're going to need help. Oh dear. Is Carino going to manage the annex? I don't think the Fremen can handle him in a 1v1, and our Ekaz and Atreides are locked in a death grip over here. A second opportunity for Ekaz victory, although they are getting sieged down by Punishers in their base because they are Landsred pariahs from launching that nuke. I gotta think advantage Carino still. I don't... it'd be tough. It'd be tough. I don't see the Fremen fighting them off, but this is actually a decent push here. Carino's over-chasing Otham. And Otham's an interesting choice. I never see Otham played. Chani is so much more meta. Carino over-chased. They got a pretty good engage from the Fremen, and of course they're slowing down this annex. 15 days, 1,000. Oh, my lord. So the Atreides are all in on governorship. They are nowhere close to hedge. I don't think Ekaz are going to hedge. It all comes down to whether or not the Fremen are able to fight Carino, and they have. The Fremen have chased Carino off and saved this territory. For now, at least. It's about, I think it's 5 days to annex something. Is it 5 or 7? Something like that. Carino has 13 days to take something. I don't think... Well, maybe. Oh, you know what? The Atreides spent all of their influence on forcing the peace on Carino, so they may not have the influence to hold on to their governorship. Oh my goodness. What a game. That puts it back into Carino hands. You know, Carino, the clear winner, they're going to win on passive hegemony in like 15 days. And you're right, any region at all would do it. Any region at all. What are they sitting on for resources? They're sitting on 500. You're right, they could leave and just annex something. This one's got a renegade base on it. They could try to take the Atreides one up north. This one is just free. They must have gotten liberated, so no one can take that. They could try to take something from the Atreides. I guess they're at peace with them. They might not want to break it. Can they get the Atreides out of governorship? I think that is a yes. What kept Carino from breaking the Jessica truce and taking the wreck? It's a good question. They should have done that. I think maybe they didn't notice it for too late. So Dune governorship is up for another vote. That's going to swing into Ekaz's hands, pretty much putting a nail in the Atreides for now. Yeah, you know, the Ekaz, if you forced peace on the Ekaz, they can't break it. But forcing peace on Carino, they could have broken it and just sat on that. You're absolutely right. And then that would have been pretty instant victory for them. What happens is sometimes if you get pieced out, the siege that you were handling starts like degrading, and it falls back to neutral really, really quickly. So if you aren't paying really, really close attention and immediately sort of betray and get back into the fight, you sort of lose all the progress of that siege, which is really frustrating. But yes, now that you mention it, especially since they're already pariahs from nuking, they could have just betrayed it and kept going. There's no... Yeah, I can't think of any additional cost of betrayal that they couldn't have done. Oof. We have the Ekaz are farming militia again. They came in here, they killed militia. They killed militia somewhere else. They're at 28-9. They've annexed. Oh my goodness. Ekaz are sitting here. They might jump into the head. Ekaz might have it with champion farm. Oh, they're so low on water, and if a champion dies, here's Whitmore, 29-5. Carino is annexing. They got about 5 days. Can the nope, Ecas are running out of supplies. They're all dying from supplies. 29-7. Nope, they're gonna die. Nope, they're gone. They died from lack of water. They made it to 29-7 and then fell off. Oh, what a rush. KZ was right there, just 300 shy of it. He tried his boom and then he died because he didn't have the supply drop ready in time for it. Oh, it was a really, really nice attempt for KZ. But now we got to see our Carino able to hold this. What are the Atreides doing? They're just sitting around, kind of dejected about the state of the world. And it's all in the hands of the Fremen to try to save the galaxy. And they're getting a good engagement here. They're about through the front line. I'd like to see them just ignore that front line actually and go back there and chop up those drones and those conscripts. They're going to need reinforcements, but they are holding the line here and making it take time. But the passive is going to do it. No one's able to stop the Carino passive, and they're going to just ever so slowly tick over the finish line here. Not even that slowly. 630 means they're going to do it in like 2 or 3 days anyways, even without this annex. I think it's a Carino victory, folks. The Atreides would need to already be on something, and they are not. The Ecas all died in the desert when they tried their last desperate gambit. I'm calling it here. It's a Carino victory on hegemony for sure. Looks like I Am Magic is going to take the pod. Yeah, as long as they just don't die. They're sitting on enough passive. They've got a weakened base, but it needed to be a dead base. I would have really liked it when they were all picking on Carino, if the Atreides would have maybe committed more to try to blasting down a base. That would have really crippled them and made it a much harder for them to claw back. But the Ecas were so close there. Within 300 points, if they had just had a supply drop ready, or if they had just killed like 3 more militia with their champions, they would have been right there and they would have had it. GG, folks. Tough fight. Tough fight. That one was back and forth there. That was really close. I think the Atreides maybe hold on to governorship if they hadn't had to force peace the Carino. Wow. Crazy, crazy. Development's pretty equal, but Atreides were quite ahead of people on developments. An outrageous amount of Atreides knowledge. I've never seen Atreides make 50 knowledge before. That's strange. So strange decisions, but I guess it gives you a lot of developments. We had some big Solari production, but nobody was really showing much. At the end, the Atreides came up to almost 30%. But everybody was super broke by the end. No stockpiles. Territory. Well, hegemony was really just the slow, passive growth of Carino all the way to victory. We had a really nice spike by Ecas there, but just didn't quite get him. Wow. Let's see, we can check out regions here. Yeah, not too many regions past hands. At one point, the Atreides had a whole bunch, but then people liberated a couple of them. I think that was them peaceful annexing stuff in the backfield, or maybe when Ecas took their territory back from them. Landsred standing. I think the nuke was probably not necessary, but hey, it actually, it got to the win eventually, so maybe it was necessary. I can't complain about it since they managed to pull it out. Command points pretty equal through most of the game. You like to see earlier a larger... I've been disconnected. Okay. You like to see a larger early spike in the Fremen armies because they still rely a lot on taking territory and bullying folks. Ooh, good game, tough game. I think that because that one was a restarted game, we ought to be very close to starting up the finals match as well. Let me check the talk. See if I can get into spectate it. Spectate? Maybe? Boom, boom. See if we can get a spectate on. I don't know why this code is invalid. It's supposed to be the right code. There we go, we're in. Disregard me. All right, who we got for the finals? It looks like Levi V. I'm not sure about Levi. I Am Magic was our Carino champion from the last game. What's up, Pat? We've got a Dune Circuit open tournament finals we're going into, and we're gonna cast it for you here. We've got the mighty Kenry, a staple of the community, been a Spicer forever. And who is our fourth? Let's see. I was trying to look through the Discord, and so much of it is, Brendan, you better be coming back. Everyone was freaked out by a lever. Yeah, I think they're trying to figure out what they're gonna put the server on, but it's probably mostly Europeans, so they're gonna do a European server. I think Henry might be North American. Just what I wanted, an American hero. We still need a fourth player in here. Who's our fourth player? I'm Magic, Kenry, and Rocky, and whoever the fourth is. Oh, and Rocky, yeah. And Rocky took a tournament win just earlier this week in a pop-up tournament that Turin hosted on his channel. Kenry, of course, has won many times. Levi, I don't know, unless it's someone who's adjusted their name. And I Am Magic, I don't know very well either, but we just watched him do a reasonably solid victory there on the Carino. Cheers, Robert. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, everybody. We are, once again, casting the finals here. Levi is Levent. Oh, Leventinix. Okay, never mind. I know him. Suffice to say, some solid players we got going here. Okay, we've got I think this is the pick order that Fusa just posted. I'm Magic gets to pick his first, so he's taking Carino. Then Inraki will be able to be second pick to pick whatever faction he wants. Kenry will be third pick. Kenry might random. He does that sometimes. And we'll just keep calling him Levi. We'll take whatever the scraps are. I'll tell you what, folks, I am going to go refill my water while they were doing this. So if you need to relieve yourselves, we probably got a couple minutes before the game starts here, but we ought to move into the finals very shortly. Be right back. All right, we're back and ready to go. Yes, Pat, we've got some Spice Wars content. This is the Dune Circuit, their third open tournament. Baron Psychedella in the chat. How you doing, Baron? Yeah, this is the grand finals of one of the open tournaments they're doing. What did we get? We got Inraki on House Ekaz. Kenry has committed to the random, and Levi on the Fremen. Interesting. I think arguably Fremen and Ekaz are maybe two of the weakest factions in the current meta. But yeah, arguable. Obviously some people think they're reasonable. They're reasonable to take to a grand finals fight here, so we'll see. Yeah, Ekaz are struggling a little bit. They've got tools, and as we saw in that last match, they came just within a hair of snatch and victory away from Carino. They need to buff Ekaz ASAP. I agree. As if I was forced to pick a main faction, and maybe it's not true anymore because I haven't played them in a long time, but Ekaz are maybe one of my favorites, so I am ready for them to be overpowered again, or once more. No Atreides, no Harkonnen. Interesting choices, right? I think most people would put Atreides and the Harkonnens high on their lists. But I think it's the beauty of the state of the game currently is that even though we're sort of sorting through tier lists, it's the driver, it's not the car, right? Well, it's the driver and it's the track, right? The map gen has an awful lot to say about the game when you've got really high-end competitive play. No matter how amazing you might be, you still need access to the territory to do good things. It's not unusual to have just lousy map gen. I feel like the map gen maybe a couple months back, and this could be totally anecdotal and not true at all, but I feel like they loosened some of the constraints on it. You can definitely tell there are certain constraints. The game could only, X must spawn here and there must always be Y spawned within this much range kind of thing. I feel like they loosened it up a little bit, and now maps are a little more out there. But here we are. Oh, wait. I was gonna say, there it is. Mighty Kenry on the Vernius. He's a random Vernius with Bolig and Bronzo. I'm excited to see that work. He's also spawned basically adjacent to the Polar Sink, which is a hilarious spawn. He's got super close spice and more spice in the backfield. And, okay, and there's a well of riches there. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. Kenry in... Look at this spawn. I was just talking about how the map spawn is wild. Kenry's got this little snaky land and then some backfield, and he's spawned right up in the middle of the map. The other players, like Carino, is spawned way off in the back, far in their own cozy little corner that no one will ever get to. Likewise with Ekaz, deep set way against the back of the map. Likewise with the Fremen, who are even pretty deep set. And look how far. So there's like one little tiny region between every base and the back of the map. And then there's Vernius, who has like 4 or 5 regions between his main base and the back of the map. Hilarious. Hilarious. We'll see what happens from it, but I'm excited already. Alright, we've got Levi on the Fremen with Mother Ramallo and Stilgar, just as expected. Very, very meta picks. We've got the Padishah Emperor taken by I Am Magic on Princess Urgulan and Zoomgaran. Again, very meta picks these days. Slightly off meta, I think, to have Bolig and Bronzo, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know what's meta for Vernius anymore. Vernius got thrown for such a loop with those last major updates. And Rocky needs a pause. That's alright. But Kenry's no stranger to Vernius. Kenry plays everything, which is why he's comfortable randoming. And for a while, he was real heavy into playing Vernius. I haven't seen a ton of Vernius from Kenry lately, but he knows it well. He's not going to struggle. And Vernius is in a pretty good spot, all in all. Vernius feels pretty good these days. Yeah, Robert's saying Vernius feels strong these days. Strong agree. Vernius has got lots of tools in their tool chest to work with. They are still vulnerable to the likes of EMPs, but it's no longer a death sentence that it once was. But it still hurts more than I would like it to. I wish EMP just was gone. And finally, we've got Inraki on the ECAS with Mesa ECAS and Sanya ECAS for the Masterpiece Maximization. Interesting. I don't like Mesa much myself, but I've seen some high-end players use her to great success. So I'm eager to see what happens with that. Our initial spawns, see if anyone's got any like overpowered traits. This is a nice one. The Carino base, their very first spice field is 40% cheaper construction cost. That's really nice. And when you want to build a ton of stuff in your initial spice field and it's all much cheaper, that'll be a nice little boost to their early game Plascrete. Meanwhile, our Fremen down here have got extra Plascrete factories, extra militia slots. They're going for some fast knowledge, and the snaky line has begun for our Vernius champions. He's able to take one region to his west, and then he'll be able to send one of his fancy combine harvester drones over there to start harvesting right away. He's of course can already immediately start harvesting. Vernius does not need to own the territory. They just need their purple line, their nodal network, to be adjacent to a territory that has a spice field, and then they could send out their combine harvesters to get it. So super fast, 2 spice. So he's already attacking the middle. Is he going to annex it? I'd love it. He might just be pillaging. He's probably, if he wanted to annex it, he's probably light on the authority, I gotta think. Switch over to the ECAS. Oh, he is annexing it. There it is. Probably the fastest Polar Sync annex I've ever seen in my life. Day 13, Polar Sync going the way of Vernius. Hilarious. At least ECAS is kind of far from everyone, so he can't get bullied. It's true. I'm mostly worried about poor Vernius getting bullied here, but it's gonna be fun. This is a wild map layout. Let's take a look at specials, because so much of games are decided by the placement and the quality of specials. So we see we've got near our Carino friends, Observatory Mountains, fine. Acid Lakes is fine, slightly good. Sandfall's fine, slightly good. All pretty reasonable, pretty solid to haves. Though Sandfall, I think, could be argued is maybe ECAS territory. But what this says to me, and it's tricky. It's tricky. What you would really like to do as Carino is drop your second base on this unfortunate spice field. You'd like to have the spice because he's going to be a tad low on spice otherwise. But if you drop your main base in the middle of 3 special regions, that lets you use Urulon like the old Urulon and just double build all of your craft workshops. And right there turns these 3 craft workshops into 6 craft workshops. Even if he didn't want to sacrifice the spice field, he could do a very conservative drop right here, in which he only gives up this rare elements, not that big of a deal, and still has double build on both of those, and that will be very comfortable and easy to do. If he heads west, southwest, now the Fremen are mighty far away, so he could do something over here. Unfortunately, this is the Desolation, which is probably bad news for the Fremen. If this was an actual special that he could colonize, this would also be an amazing base drop spot here. There's even a mountain here. Real weird terrain. So strong special options. I think Carino's got some good territory to work with here. They're not going to be displeased with that. Meanwhile, down in the south, you never like the Desolation to spawn by you, because it means it's a special region that could have been valuable and is not. Sometimes it's nice if it blocks off access to other people, but it's not even really doing that here. So it's just a dead special region. So that's generally a bad thing for probably the Fremen, who otherwise would have had pretty easy access to that. First Landsrat pops up. Doesn't look exciting to me. Nobody here is like, oh my god, I need statecraft developments or military developments. Economy developments are probably nice. Let's see, what are Vernius is leaning into? Pretty standard stuff. To be expected. We're leaning into the economy for the Fremen, or rather their Russian Sand Brotherhood. And that's not too unusual. Sand Brotherhood you sometimes rush because you want to pick up a quick bazaar, and also if you're just using your Stilgar to make tons and tons of very early siege alliances. It really lets you power your economy almost entirely off sieges in the early game. What did happen there? Okay, so just statecraft passed. Everything else failed. That was voted down by minor houses. That was voted down by Vernius and Carino. This was voted up by Vernius. Okay, so Vernius opted for the statecraft. They're going to pick up diplomatic maneuvers. That makes sense. That gives you your extra house gifts. Always nice to have. Holistic thinking always makes sense. Countermeasures make sense. Yep, that's pretty much exactly what I would do. I approve, Kenry. Looking good. We have a very quick research center coming up in the S Vault. Nobody else building out their main bases yet. You just gave Vern the best tech route, says Inraki. Yeah, I agree. An early blue tech is probably good for Vernius. Vernius a little more flexible than most people, but they like the quick blue. Mostly to get up to the likes of holistic thinking. You know, you always go beeline basically for heretical computing, which he already had. But holistic thinking super fast is nice. I don't think countermeasures is necessary. I'm not expecting this to be an assassination game between Ikaz and... Yeah, wouldn't have been my concern. I wouldn't have picked up countermeasures. I probably would lean even into the likes of maybe stealth gear or Landsrat support, maybe even all the way up to physical wiring. It's pretty solid these days. It doesn't do what it used to do, but it does say, you know, you could put up a couple infiltration cells in your neighbors, and those will give you even extra knowledge. And statecraft buildings will give you extra Solarian intel. So, yeah, I mean, it beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Apollyon, good to see you, my man. Welcome back. Yeah, I'm not playing. We're just watching today. We're just commentating some other expert play. We're taking it easy. I might play something later. I don't know. I've got the house to myself at peace all day long. So there's gonna be some gaming, but I don't know if it's gonna be Dune. We'll see. We'll see. But for the time being, I got you Dune locked down for a little more today. This is game number 2. We managed to comment on the group stage games, where we saw our Carino champion eke out a very tough contested victory. These other players all won their own pods in the group stages, and now we are rolling through the finals. What have I been playing these days? I must confess I've been cheating on the strategy community. I've been playing all kinds of other fun stuff like Deadlock. I've been playing basically if you took Dota and Overwatch, and you smushed them together into basically a new Dota game. Ooh, it's good, boys. It's rage-inducing, but really good. I've been playing some Space Marine 2. I've been playing some Sins of a Solar Empire 2. I've been playing some Age of Mythology, which I didn't want to play, but it's really good. Damn it. It's really good. We'll talk more about that later. Let's focus back on the game, at least for now, until it gets a little dull. There's plenty more to talk about in-game at the moment. We're looking for special regions that would make this interesting for our Fremen friends. They've got the Moondew Vale, which is crap. They likely have access to the Imperial Basin up there. Imperial Basin's okay. And they likely have access to the Great Volcano. Interesting. Boy, wouldn't that be a wonderful spot for another Carino base drop in between 4 specials. One there, and there. Now if I'm Carino, I'm looking at how do we get the Fremen completely killed so I could drop a 3rd base here and pick up 4 adjacent specials. That'd be pretty amazing. But if Carino doesn't make it all the way down there, and if Vernius isn't feeling like he's aggro expanding to the west, those could all 4 very reasonably be Fremen land, and put Fremen in a pretty decent spot, despite the fact that maybe they don't have access to this desolation back here. These 4 are very favorably placed for them. Even the village spawning placement are nice. The villages are close by where the Fremen would want them to be. I like it. Let's see. You could upload Age of Mythology games for us. Yeah, you used to play a lot. Age of Mythology, I got bad news, Apollyon. Age of Mythology was not like 10 years ago. Age of Mythology was like 20 years ago. It was like the early zeros. It was a long time ago when Age of Mythology was a big thing. I'm having a good time with it. I played, of course, a ton, way in the way back, but it's been so long that I've forgotten everything about it. So now I can play it again, and it feels fresh and new. Yeah, I mean, Fremen could become a big problem for Vernius in the mid-game, is one of the comments. And the truth is that Fremen are a big problem for their neighbors every game, all the time, always. And that's just the state of Fremen. Though it does look like Vernius, Kenry is taking this opportunity to claim the shield wall for himself up there. I do like that. He's just committing to his role as the middle purple snake. He is definitely going to run into some Fremen aggro at some point here. Nope, he just pillaged it, actually. Okay, so he is not committing to... Pillaging says he's basically never going to get this, right? This is going to be 100% more expensive for 3 months. And in 3 months, I would expect the Fremen to be up thereabouts. Alright, let's check out some of this Vernius back territory. He does have the Well of Riches here. You love to see it. Well of Riches is one of the best early game specials you can grab, because it's just a whole bunch of free money. And that's nice. Really fun. Not a lot else in the backfield. We got a tasty spice field here, which he could already get access to because he's adjacent to it. We got another lands rag coming up. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Arrakis harvesters, so you get money of people that die in your territory. It's a great to have if people are attacking you, but if people are not like all in on attacking you, it doesn't really do anything. But it's a decent one to have. I guess because we've got Fremen in the game, no one's likely to be too nice to their sieges, or much more likely. Look at the siege. 1, 2, 3. There's like 4 sieges already in Fremen lands. Fremen probably would prefer those to be spread out a little bit more. We got another siege way up in Carino lands with better spying stuff. A siege up here in Ekaz lands that are military unit health. You love to see it. Another one over in Ekaz lands that are 10% more resource production. You love to see it too. But again, with Fremen in the game, you're probably likely to be burning those sieges down rather than making friends with them. We'll see. Fremen are an interesting spot. I did see people talking about them the other day, saying that if you're someone, the average Fremen player in the current state of Fremen, it's pretty bad. But an expert Fremen player can still really pilot them to cause a whole lot of trouble and can be a right menace for everybody else in the lobby. And I think we're probably more towards the expert tier here, but we'll see. Who's running them? Levi. Yeah, Levi normally plays Ekaz, I think. But who knows? What do I know? We've got a forward spice grab. That must have been expensive to annex, because that is 2 or 3 regions away from his home base. No extra base drop from the Corinos yet. Kenry was 1v3 on it last game defending. Oh, was Kenry on the Fremen? Kenry is a Fremen master a master of the old ways. In many ways, helped write the books on Fremen. Some diplomacy going on. Harmless gadgets being handed out. Non-aggression packs. So the Fremen are peace with everybody. Oh, you know, we clicked off the last lands, right? What happened? All factions, all factions, all factions. So everybody got water, cheaper buildings, and everybody got truced. Alright, well that's why the diplomacy screen looks so busy. Everybody got truces, and a couple of harmless gadgets that got handed out then. Kenry is a bully, it's true. But he's a fun one. He's the best kind of bully. He's the one who makes interesting things happen rather than just being mean. We see the suboid, the suboid legions out and about being carefully microed since they only have 200 hit points. And they only have 8 power. Meanwhile, this guy has 6 armor, so they only hit him for 2 damage apiece. Oh, Vernius. Good times. I see an awful lot of crew on those harvesters. I guess everybody is benefiting from Vernius tech now. And Vernius has Spice Enlightenment, so I guess they're giving everybody 4-slot crews. Kenry clearly listening to the stream because he clicked off of countermeasures and went up to physical wiring, as I advised. He's picking up Chome support. He's going money Vernius here. Let's check some resources. Nobody's doing a whole lot. We got big money coming in for the ECAS actually. What's going on? What's going down with the spice? 91 spice on Vernius, 69 the blessed number on the ECAS, 67 on Carino, and 36 on the Fremen. Where are the Fremen only on 36 spice? They have 1 spice field. There is one way over there. They could be on 2 spice. They could be on, I guess that one they'd have to fight over. They could be on 2 spice at least, but it's fair to say that second one's a bit of a walk. Not a great spice spawn for our Fremen friends. Vernius has taken the cutoff to keep the ECAS back in their own corner here. Look at this goofy territory. Why is this one single territory taking up all that space? That's extremely goofy. Anyways, we're supposed to be talking about specials. I keep getting sidetracked. So as far as specials for Vernius goes, he's got the Polar Sync, obviously, though that comes with its own set of negatives. If he wanted to, he could kind of get either or both of these specials. You got the spacing wreck up here, the shield wall. He's not going to get the shield wall because he pillaged that, so he can't get that for 2 or 3 months at least. And he doesn't have specials in his backfield, which is the real problem. The real problem is all the specials he might have or might want to have are smack dab in the middle of the map along with his main base, which leads him right into the dangers of, you know, getting 3v1'd and either losing specials or just straight up getting murdered. The reason you don't want your main base in the middle of the map is because everybody else is likely to be touching, you know, parts of the middle of the map eventually, unless you're ECAS and you're banished to the hinterlands. But everybody else usually has a short walk to get in toward the middle. And if your base is in the middle, then it's a short walk to your base. We'll see how Vernius plays that, but I wouldn't be incredibly shocked if they ended up totally base killed later in the game. Though, I don't know, Fremen and ECAS are not necessarily known as base killing kind of factions here. They're a bit more of a slow siege, slow fight down. Who's ahead in the hedge doesn't matter so much at this point in the game. It's not that big of a deal, but 9k on the Fremen, sub 5 for Carino. They'd like to be at 5 at least. 7.4 on Vernius, 6k on ECAS. But look at this ECAS with an early 14% Chome. Nobody else has bought a single share. House Carino starts with 50 shares. House ECAS has bought 150 themselves. Nice. We're seeing some eco-cas here. What's the ECAS lands look like? Honestly, Eco's gonna be his best bet because it's looking a little grim. He's got access to Sandfall up here, and he's gonna take it. All right, so that locks out the triple drop from Carino. I expect to see Carino dropping base on Tabor here, or This is also a spice field, so you don't really want to drop it up there either. Yeah, everywhere, all the best places for Carino base drops are spice fields, unfortunately. But anyways, Ikaz taking Sandfall. We'll come back to you in a minute, Landsred. They've got a nice spice. They got 1 spice, 2 spice, an easy 3 spice there for them. Where are they getting all their money from? Do they have some... I don't know. Maybe they did a bunch of pillaging early on. Because they don't have anything that like is screaming to me amazing. They've got the data brokers here is a nice quirk over on Fusud. Is this their they make this the garden already? Yep, they got a garden resort in the back here with a very fast spacing guild in it. Up here on the front lines, and I'm not enamored with these quirks. They're not very good quirks. I'm impressed that he's been able to squeeze out so much money from those not very good quirks. Free Landsrad standing for House Carino. This got rejected. This got rejected. And this got rejected because there was a random smuggler bounty on it. So everybody took the opportunity to dump all of their votes into the smuggler bounty. Lo and behold, everybody's got 5,000 plus Solari. Thanks, smugglers. Once again, that's why we would advise new players just never bounty anything. Because it really enriches all of the other players a lot more than it enriches you to win whatever that bounty was on. I wouldn't hate to see, I don't know, I wouldn't hate to see that toned down or toned up, toned some particular way. But it does feel like the bounty for smugglers is always sort of a double-edged sword. You get what you want, but you made everybody else extremely rich by doing so. Okay, so we see the Fremen expanding north into all of this choice territory up here, as expected. Things have been quite peaceful, no real border skirmishes yet. Carino's still sitting on their second base, haven't dropped it yet. In fact, nobody's on any daily. 20% on Ikaz. Ikaz are chomin', God bless them. I love what I'm seeing here. I guess 19% on the ECAS, but pretty good. Vernius bought 20 shares, Carino bought 20 shares, but that's all. And the time it took Carino and Vernius to buy 20 shares, ECAS bought 210. Nice. Nice. Let's see our resources. Still 166. I guess they're making a lot from spice. Renowned merchant, native reservations, and they're making good money from some early Sanya Ikaz. They got 2 really good spots for relatively quick, sanctuaries. Two relatively quick sanctuaries. These are easy decisions because you like the terrain around them, and they don't give them anything in particular themselves. So 2 perfect options for very early game sanctuaries right adjacent to the base. And that's very helpful because Sanya Ikaz, of course, pays out extra money for sanctuaries, and then the sanctuaries make your masterpieces much easier, allowing you to masterpiece stuff up really easily. So I don't see much in the way of masterpiece play yet. In fact, I see no masterpieces at all, but I'm sure we'll get there eventually. Carino doing some pillaging, marching around. All right, Fremen are laying claim to the various regions. I was gonna say they're laying claim to the special, but they just marched up and took some minerals. They just really wanted those dang minerals, and then they built a research lab on it. Interesting, Levi. Russian the research labs. It's got a scientist's quirk trait, so it's not the worst idea I've ever heard. But if we take a look at resources, Vernius on 34 knowledge, just where you'd expect them to be. 19 on the ECAS, but a lot of that is based on probably their excellent spot for a quick garden here, making 5 for them. Yeah, that's to be expected. Only 10 on the Fremen. They're in the Dark Ages. 14 on Carino, which is fine. Not a problem. I'd be reasonably happy with 14 at this point in the game. Early mid-month 3. Vernius is in the red at the moment. I guess they're hard stockpiling though, because the rates are not looking too good. Why is the rate so good for ECAS? 0.5 for CHOAM support, 0.2 for Imperial Satisfaction. Huh. What is CHOAM support? Am I missing something? Oh. It's the ECAS have so much CHOAM, has so many CHOAM shares. CHOAM support makes the spice exchange rate better for them. So because they've got the CHOAM market cornered 25%, I love it. Because they've got that CHOAM market cornered, they're getting big dividends to make even more money selling their spice. So even though they're only making less than or roughly equivalent to the other spice that people are making, 120 is not like a ton of spice. I'd like to see him invest into this, because he's clearly making so much off spice, but he's going to turn it into a sanctuary instead. He's annexing the next one down the line. And I gotta think that ECAS would really like to have ArcDud. I think that's the latest game that they made, ArcDud, where they took Arc and they remade it with new graphics and tried to sell it again for $60. It's the ArcDud. I gotta think ECAS wants ArcDud, because it would turn Fonkalon here into a sanctuary, and this is perfect sanctuary territory. Has not particularly exciting traits, has only 2 wind on it. It could be making you so much more value as a sanctuary than as something you could take. He is greeding for sure. But, you know, even if you weren't going for the CHOAM, and he absolutely could, because nobody has bought nothing in the entire game so far. He's almost up to 300 shares. Carino pressed the buy button once. Vernius pressed the buy button once. Everyone's broke, except for ECAS, who's making as much as everyone else put together, and then some. I like it. I like it a lot. Authority-wise, it's also in ECAS's favor thanks to their many sanctuaries. So they did grab this one down here. They turned their 3rd spice field into a sanctuary. I feel like he's making so much off the spice. He might be better served by actually turning that, annexing that. You could get it later. You could come back and get it later if you want to, but it's basically 50% more spice for him, because he's only on 2 fields right now. It'd be nice if he went and stole this spice field. Oh, he's not gonna be able to. We finally got the base drop from Carino up north, just where I said it would be. He didn't want to drop it on the spice field because that was already taken by Vernius. So the next best is right here in between 2 specials. This is nice. This is good conservative play. It's close to your other base, so it's not an obvious place for enemies to come in and try and base snipe you. It's pretty well defended. This will all be very solid Carino lands, well defended in the future, so it's not in any danger. It pays out big dividends by being able to double build at least on these 2 regions here. And even before he can double build craft shops, he's taken advantage to double build research hubs on the acid lakes, which is a whole ton of tech. He's gonna be able to, does this have any interesting quirks on it? Not particularly. Data center and listening posts. I mean, he could double build data centers, souped up data centers for a ton of intel. And Carino does love intel, because even though they did get nerfed down ever so slightly, orbital strikes are still pretty freaking good. Pretty freaking good. Robert says he'd have put it on the spice and gone to war with ECAS. I mean, that would have been a bold play for sure. That would have been exciting. And I think at this point in time, our 34, I guess there's 33 on ECAS and 34 on Carino, so they're roughly equivalent. The biggest army is the Fremen, who have gone up and claimed some of these front lines here. They're gonna lay claim to these 4 specials like we talked about earlier, so they will be doing just fine on the hedge. Oh, and they've gone craft work. We're at 30 a day on the Fremen. Good lord, good lord. Beelined up. not necessarily a beeline, but quite up. We saw them pick up Sand Brotherhood first, and they must have gone straight up to valuable trinkets. Kenry's calling out Ekaz at 28% Chom, and that is a threat, but it is a big problem to have the Fremen at 30 a day when no one else is on anything. Ooh. I'm worried that people are going to be too concerned about the Ekaz Chom and ignore this Fremen threat, because that's a lot. Fremen are printing much more. Yeah, and good call out on Rocky. That's exactly what I would say. Don't worry about my Chom, worry about his... Oh, he's getting pillaged. Oh, he's getting triple pillaged. Oh no, you know what happened? Ekaz did not build militia in their territory because there's no sieges up here that would raid anything. So Kenry, the vile devil that he is, just ran a Suboid into each of the Ekaz cities and pillaged them while the Ekaz army was away from home. Oh my goodness, that is such a Kenry play. Oh dear. That guy's gonna die. He's not gonna get that pillage off, but he did pillage here. He did get 3 pillages off on Ekaz. Oh my lord. That's very funny. Can we see if that's affected, like, economically? Solari stocks. Look at this Solari stocks. He was, like, 4 days ago, he had 2,000, and now he has almost 10,000. He's stealing from the rich and giving to himself. Baron Psychedilla loves some militia checks. Yep, it's one of those moments that feels so bad, right? When you're trying, and the Ekaz are mad. They're coming to punish that sort of greed play. But are they going to be able to? We do have automated defenses up, meaning that this is a missile turret here. I guess this is not even a particularly built out. I think you could have taken it, Levi. Or not Levi, in Rocky. I think you could have taken him in Rocky. I suppose we've got some spirits starting to come up as well. We do have the drones starting to come out. There's at least 3 rail drones and 4 rail drones. All right. The Vernius has some teeth. But yeah, it feels so bad. When you're playing high end, you're trying to be as lean as possible, right? You don't want to make investments in resources into stuff that aren't gonna give you more resources back in time, right? You don't want to be buying militia. You don't want to be spending that precious manpower if the militia aren't gonna do anything. But at the same time, you end up with Kenry as your neighbor, and if he walks over and pillages 3 of your villages, oh, it hurts. It hurts so much. It's basically, I think it's 30 days? No, it's 20 days. 20 days for devastated, a minus 50% production. So one of his spice is offline or down 50%. This wasn't doing anything really, but this guy was trying to make him money in water, and that's down 50%. Why are you 3v1? Oh my goodness, they are 3v1. There's apparently Fremen up here liberating things. There is Carino up here liberating things. 30% Chom and crafts. You are greedy. He's not. Is he crafts? He didn't have crafts. Dude, I guess he's got valuable trinkets. He doesn't have any he doesn't have any special regions. This is a bit of an overreaction, gentlemen. But I see it. I get why. So what happens is we're getting the blood in the water again. Poor Ekaz. They certainly don't deserve this. What's happened is Ekaz got a little far ahead and people didn't like it, so it seemed like they'd be a reasonable thing to attack. And then as soon as someone starts attacking somebody, everybody else jumps in. It's the dog pile, right? There's a liberate there, there's a liberate there, that's getting liberated, and Kenry is annexing down here for Vernius, and annexing here. Ooh. Oh, it's a death blow for Ekaz. You know, not a death blow, but it is a knife in the side that they are gonna be struggling with for a long time. I'm a little surprised he didn't. I mean, he's got guys, and there's only one infiltrator here. I think he could have fought something there. He opted not for any combat. He just let it happen. I mean, pretty greedy. Sitting at almost, not quite 30%, but almost 30%. Vernius is starting to buy a little bit. Carino's buying a little bit. Fremen are just happy that people aren't attacking them. So it makes sense to me that Carino did this. Carino would love to, claim this northern territory for themselves. That's some really choice land up here. You got Spicefield, you got Special Region, you got Spicefield. If Carino's able to sort of push east and take this stuff, chef's kiss. That's great for them. Kenry, meanwhile, can't really push into the Fremen unless, there's a big chunky Fremen army invisible in the desert here. Unless he wants war with Fremen, he can't really go west anymore. He can't really go north because definitely Carino thinks that this is their territory. So he doesn't have any expansion opportunities but to go east. The trouble is the space to the east of him is not that good either. These are not prime territories that he's taking away from Ikaz. They're just kind of okay territories. But, taking something's better than nothing. I think I like the Fremen position right now. Fremen in the pole position for me. Still cooking 30 a day. Carino's trying to catch up. They're at 19. Chom is safer and can be harder to contest without setting yourself back. Yep, it's true that Chom is a very comfortable win condition and potentially a fast one, but he's going to sit at 30% and never come close to 50. Never, ever, ever from this point onward. It's only other people are only going to get more. What's going on with this lander? This is taking forever. Command point increase. That does go through, making things a bit more expensive for the people with armies. Controlled markets on the ECAS. That's unnecessary. ECAS tried to stick it on Vernius, but Vernius and Fremen and a little bit of Carino managed to stick it on ECAS. Poor Inraki. Oh, I feel like this is always the case. At least this has been my experience with ECAS forever. Ooh. Yeah, Lanzarat's got a bunch of anti-chom tech in it too. I agree. Poor ECAS. Pour one out for our ECAS homies. They didn't deserve that bad a beating. They didn't even fight it either. They just let it happen. He's annexing that? Why did he annex that? Oh, he might be abandoning. He's probably gonna put masterpieces in it because he's got Mesa. That makes sense to me. Well, the good news is he can now pick up what will be his second spice field, since his other second spice field got liberated by Fremen. The Fremen came out of nowhere there. I don't even know why they're up there, other than they're just happy to not be the target. They're sitting at 15k in the hedge. We've got 12, up to 49 daily on Carino, though. Carino's roaring back into the hedge in a hurry, but Fremen have been sitting on a lot of daily hedge for a while now. If we jump over to them, will it tell us how much they've had? If you're the player, you can mouse over and it'll tell you, here's the fraction of where you're getting your hegemony from. But I'm not sure if or where we could look at that from our spectator view. Regardless, Fremen have a lot of hedge, and the good point about what the hedge that they have is that a bunch of it is coming from craft workshops, which can never be taken away. Boom, boom, boom. What's going on? War between the ECAS and Vernius, but ECAS have a big army, 45 of 45, so they've even got more than Vernius. Vernius has a lot more potential command points. And really another bad thing right now is if we look at the diplomacy, we still got Vernius at peace with Carino and Fremen. So Carino and Fremen are reaping the fruits of the Vernius tech tree that is fully shared, while the ECAS are living in the Dark Ages. They're doing fine on tech, actually, because they got their garden up super early, but they don't have all that free economy tech that used to be given to them by Vernius. Carino marching around. Carino did lay claim to the space wreck. It's a nice pickup for them. I certainly would have expected that. I guess the village is very Carino favored, the placement here, but if I were Ekaz, I probably wouldn't... Oh, Vernius on the offensive. If I were Ekaz, I probably wouldn't have chomed to 30% right away, but he did and suffered some consequences of that. But I would have tried to push Vernius and muscled your way into the middle here, and then maybe you try to make Zaydud more, this space wreck more of Ekaz lands, because you're so starved for special regions. At best, you can hold on to Sandfall, and then you've got nothing else special. The only other special you could even conceivably get your hands on is the space wreck. Vernius over here even eating up some of the spice that by all rights should be Ekaz spice, but the renegades are guarding the region for him. Ugh. Tough times. So Vernius did get chased off, but Ekaz is crippled, really badly crippled. Carino's pillaging. Looks like Fremen are pillaging and dropping some scav teams to do so. Let's check our resources. Yeah, I agree that he was kind of forced to chome. I think it was a wild overreaction. It's true. I would have chomed to 30% and been mad with power and totally indignant at everybody coming to 3v1 me. Let's see. Big money makers currently is Vernius, who's pulling in as much spice as the entire rest of the lobby put together at this point, and hard selling all of it. Good for him. Poor Ekaz is broke and forced to hard sell into a horrible controlled markets rate. Yeah, he's got a little bit of buffer. He doesn't have to be hard selling into it. Not a lot of money banked by anybody. A lot of Plascrete for Ekaz. A lot of manpower for Carino, and they're not really using it. We're up to 51 daily for hegemony for the Fremen, 49 for Carino. That's good, but it's definitely Fremen favored still. Fremen making massive hedge bank here just by the luck of the draw, and they've got a special region here. They don't even want to take it because it's going to just push them too far ahead, but there's the potential for a whole lot of backfield territory that the Fremen could just sit on empty here and not really worry about it, and at the end game pick it all up later. You still didn't try Ekaz. Yeah, the guy who did the Ekaz chome in month 4, I'm pretty sure it was Levi here actually, our Fremen player. But yeah, 30% chome is just beautiful luxury territory that anybody would be happy to sit in, even if you're not going all the way to 50. But the map position was so poor for Ekaz here. I am surprised that they ate that dirty 3v1. And Kenry, because he just doesn't really have anything else to do, is continuing to pick on the Ekaz. Let's see, we've got a lands right up. Sale incentive. Ekaz can make some money back by selling off their chum shares. War of Assassins is no big deal. Foreign recruitment is no big deal. I don't think anyone's hurting on the army front necessarily. Everyone's sitting right around 45 CP, although most of them have teched into the 65. Or rather, Vernius has teched in for them. Nobody but Vernius has, actually. Ekaz is up to logistical flourish, but really Vernius got it all and has given it to both the Fremen and Carino, who are being quite greedy in month 5, not being up to, military propaganda for the extra command points. They're obviously feeling safe and comfortable. Look at this wild greed. Fremen with like the full green tree? Outrageous. Have you ever seen the Fremen not tech into command points within the first 5 months? He's very comfortable down there in his little corner. Carino likewise picked up heavy into the green tree. Vernius gets everything because they're Vernius. ECAS has been forced to pick and choose a little bit, and they've been choosing military, or rather they've been forced into military. Wonders of the Desert is an interesting pickup since there's not a lot of special regions for him to work with, but it will make this one cheaper. Never mind, he's annexing it before he even gets Wonders of the Desert, so. Meanwhile, Carino is grabbing their spice field there, the spice field that was foretold. And they are sitting on a very comfortable 3 spice, or will be soon. 3 spice on the Fremen at only 116. It's going to be only 2 spice for Carino is paying 162. And this one adjacent to a base is going to get a nice buff too. Carino's going to be the premier spicer here once this field gets online. 4 spice on the Vernius, but they're only pulling 217 out of it, which is good. But it's not going to be as much as Carino's able to get. They're going to pull out a lot more. Once a six crude harvester gets going up there, they will be doing just fine economically. And we're just about back to 2 spice for... Or we are on 2 spice for the ECAS, except that it's being raided, so it's not producing right now. Hard times for the ECAS. They did lay claim to Sandfall up to the north again. We don't have any obfuscations yet. Everyone is happily crafting. I'm a little surprised because Vernius is not doing any crafting and fallen way behind in the hedge. I guess it's gonna keep people from 3v1ing his middle territory because he doesn't look like a threat at all. And he is continuing to just lay siege to the ECAS here. I feel like he wants a dead ECAS at this point. This is a lot. I mean, he is blowing up the refinery and the defenses of ECAS's very first natural expansion. Meanwhile, he is sieging down the base to the east. We've got a huge 65 CP Vernius army against 39 poor ECAS soldiers. And ECAS is just too poor to really do anything about it. They can barely even pay the upkeep of training any more men. What's going on over here? Okay, so we just pillaged that one, I think. That's devastated? What is he doing? Is he not? He hasn't sieged it yet? He's just sitting on it. This is when he's blowing up all the buildings with rail drones. And Rocky could get out here and do something, but no, Kennery's pulling back. The Fremen are just feasting on all of this beautiful territory that they have. Feeling good back there. Vernia's sitting at 500 authority. Not annexing anything yet. Whew. Interesting game. Yeah. Kenry, like we mentioned before, Kenry's a bully. He sees some weakness here in the ECAS, and he's taken full advantage of it. He's given pretty free rein to the Carino and the Fremen, and they are running with it. If we check out our faction summaries, Fremen very close to 20k here, still making the most passive by a decent shot. You know, ECAS and Vernius have not been on any passive, and by the 5th month is cripplingly bad. I agree, it's sort of... I mean, I guess I don't know what other play Kenry has. If he kills ECAS, which is still a bit of a tall order, he could expand through ECAS lands, and he does have... Ooh, excuse me. He does have Bronzo, which makes, you know, the long expansion very, very viable for Vernius. But there's just, unfortunately, the lands that ECAS are on are just not that valuable to Vernius. Vernius is doing fine economically. What he would really like is access to specials, I think. I mean, the Vernius win con, especially with the likes of Bronzo, is really much more of a hegemony kind of win con. He's at 12%. ECAS hasn't bought any shares in a long time. Vernius is buying a little bit. Shares are cratering. They're quite cheap at the moment. Maybe they're expensive actually. Purchase price of 260 for one share. So if you bought 20, it'd be 4,000. Oh yeah, that's super expensive actually. That's because the Landsrat made them double expensive. That makes sense. It's gonna be a long one. Settle in, everybody. Unless the Fremen are able to boom and manage their 3v1, and they might be. If they could still easily grab this one. The trouble is, Carino is close enough to cause them some grief right on the front lines here, where they've got a lot of really valuable territory. But yeah, there's the 20k for Fremen, almost 4,000 ahead of Carino, which Carino is probably not happy about. You know, on one hand, it gives Carino license to just print hedge as quickly as they possibly can, right? Nobody's gonna come and 3v1 Carino when they're down by 4 or 5k, and they can reap the huge benefits of just stocking up a ton of hedge. On the other hand, you're way far behind, and you're gonna need to stop the Fremen because they are running away with it for the moment. Gear Regs is an interesting one. We'll see who this goes on. Carino's got the most votes, but I don't think they've got a horse in that race. They probably will be happy to take the Eye of the Council for themselves. Meanwhile, Infrastructure Control is a great Vernius pickup. Does he have space in his S-Vault? I guess he could reorder it if you wanted to and save a lot of money from Infrastructure Control. Gear Regs could be Ekaz or Vernius putting them on each other. Could be people putting this on Fremen if they want to finally pick on the Fremen, but I don't think anyone's ready to do anything about the Fremen. And here's the beauty of the Fremen situation is Carino could come fight them. But this stuff going on in the east, this is basically the dreaded blood feud that we warn you not to get in, right? Henry's always trolling, borderline trolling. Yeah, it's true. This is the blood feud that we warn you off of. And so if Kenry says, oh, Fremen are a problem, I gotta go fight Fremen, and he pulls his forces back to go fight Fremen, well, Ekaz has no chance to really go fight Fremen. Ekaz can only try to take their territory back from Vernius. And if Vernius doesn't want to lose everything that he's taken, he's got to stay over here and keep fighting the Ekaz. And the Ekaz who, you know, this is the 3rd place guy going all in on fighting the 4th place guy. You got to be a goldfish. Thank you, Robert. Exactly. Someone read the guides. Goldfish have a memory of 10 seconds or something. After 10 seconds, you forgot everything that happened before it. We do see Ekaz falling back. What happened there? He had this village dead to rights and then didn't do anything with it. He's now backing off. The gear regs went on Ekaz thanks to the minor houses, which is kind of hilarious. Although Ekaz, they did get a consolation Infrastructure Control thanks to their own 30 votes, their free votes. What is Vernius up to? Maybe Kenry's hearing some of our criticism and he's backing off and he's leaving Ekaz alone. I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to criticize too. The Vernius position is not an enviable one here. You know, his spot on the map, the land he has access to is, quite frankly, poor. So it's hard to do anything about it. But yeah, Pat says, what am I watching? How is Fremen getting away with it? Exactly. The Fremen have the best map position and no natural predators to do anything about it. Is he actually going to go for the claim here? So if he annexes this, this is basically saying, I'm all in, I'm booming. And he's got, a chunky army here. He's backing off. He changed his mind or he was just farming some XP. It's unclear. But you know, if you're in the lead position and then you go and you annex another special, that's it. People gotta come fight you. It's so Psychedela says we've got perfect scouting. Other players do not. That's fair. That's fair. We could check individual people's vision. I think maybe not. Yes, we can. Follow this player's camera. Switch to this player's vision. There it is. I never switch to people's visions. So if we were ECAS, they can mostly see stuff. Everybody's got the map scouted at this point. Vernius can see the full Fremen Empire at this point. They know what's going on down there, more or less. I mean, even if you can't see the Fremen army, which is significant, everybody can see the territory that the Fremen is sitting on. It's one of the reasons that Spice Wars is such a good game, such a good free-for-all game, and it's something that frustrates me a lot in the likes of Sins of a Solar Empire, which is another fabulous game, but Sins of a Solar Empire, there's so much more information that you don't have. You know, if you're playing a game like that, you can see your territory very well, and you could kind of see maybe the adjacent territory, and then you just got no idea what's happening on the opposite end of the galaxy. But in Spice Wars, you have a lot of information. You can anybody can pop open the faction summary and see, oh, looks like we got obfuscated crafts, my friends. Looks like it finally happened. The valuable trinkets are all gone, courtesy of House Vernius. It didn't stop the Fremen from making out like bandits on it. I bet they got a big chunk of this. They got a couple thousand saved up by via craft shops. But that does... Oof, it's going to put a damper on the game. Buckle up, everybody. It's month 6. We're headed to month 12. I don't know. We'll see. Fremen are in a good position, but they're not in a boom to 30k without crafts kind of position. You know, the House Carino, of course, gets to keep their... Where is it at? Their Emperor's Monument, which will give them 10 a day, and that does get multiplied by their research center to give them 12 a day. 12 a day says you get a free 360 per month. So roughly every 2 months, it's like taking a free normal region. That is, you know, needless to say, not a lot, but it is something. It's some sort of passive game towards victory. I feel like that will never even catch up to how far they were behind the Fremen. So how does this play out now? Our chome market is looking pretty unexciting. Nobody's choming. We got Carino is finally popping off on their spice, but their rate's not particularly good. They're making money, but I don't think they're not making like corner of the chome market kind of money. Dome says it means someone will have to show some aggression, making the game less likely to die with a whimper instead of a bang. Yeah. Well, it's the trouble of the speaking of aggression, Kenry is pillaging over here, has annexed here, has liberated here. We took our eyes off. Oh my god, and the Fremen are up here liberating. I guess that's just because they've got the siege here and they can just teleport bully him. If he liberates this, he's already got a harvesting caravan up here. He could just walk, he could steal the Ekaz spice. Inraki says, are you alright in your mind, Fremen? It's a reasonable question. The Fremen are far from home. Poor Ekaz. Inraki is getting bullied. Like literally cyberbullied right now. He's not having a good time and people are just picking on him more. He is down and out and people are continuing to kick him. About to be a 3-hour game. Well, so the trouble, I guess one of the interesting situations we have is that if he liberates, it gets transformed into a sanctuary. Oh, that's an interesting thought. Yes, I think you're correct. If it liberates, this will get transformed into a sanctuary. He might still be, I think he could still harvesting caravan it though. Can you harvesting caravan spices and sanctuaries? I guess I don't know the answer to that. I think you can, but yes, it will turn into a sanctuary as soon as it gets liberated. Yeah, Kenry took his bad spawn and decided he was going to make someone else have a bad day. We've got a lands rat up, but it is not an exciting one. Selling chum shares to gain authority. That's no good. Nobody's doing anything about that. ECAs are not struggling with authority. They're struggling with everything else in the world. Statecrafts is no big deal, although Fremen wanted to cause some problems with people. Landsred guards are no big deal, except... I mean, I guess Landsred guards would be good for ECAs, but I think ECAs at this point, on 19 CP with Fremen in their backfield and Vernius in the front field, Vernius is gonna... I mean, Kenry's gonna try and kill the ECAs. Like, murder, kill. ECAs are out of manpower. Making 20 a day, which is okay, but... oh, it's gonna be tight. So we did get the Landsred guards. That's a boon for ECAs. Vernius voted for that, strangely enough. Vernius sieging the ECAs base. So this is a thing you can do with Vernius because their repairs are so strong, and he doesn't even need to be doing this with a railgun drone. He could have a fighting mech out there, which would be a fair bit more tanky. But the railguns at least could shoot, but he's blasting away at the base. Railgun drones are quite strong. 30 attack power means that they're not as impacted by the huge 10 armor here. They have a slow attack speed, but a very high power. And the very high power gets them through that enemy armor. Do they even ignore half of the enemy base armor? I'm not sure if that works on the main base or not. But regardless, we can see this is almost a quarter done, almost a third of the way done. And the main base itself is not able to outdo the healing that Nuwa is handing out to the railgun drone. At any time, he could just pull this back and move another one a little bit forward to tank. There we go. There we go. This one comes back to heal. Another one moves up to take the aggro. Or at least they're going to spread out so they're not getting AoE'd. He ought to spread those out. He could even walk a fight drone up there to sit and take some shots. A very cool Vernius drone army here. So I told you before, it looked like Kenry wanted to go ahead and kill the ECAs, and I don't see how ECAs gets out of this. We saw their manpower is too low. He's economically crippled. He's on 25 command points. Unless someone comes and saves him? And who would do such a thing? This is already halfway done. I'm really sort of surprised at how strong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 railgun drones are actually doing pretty damn good work. And he's finally got the fight engineer up here as well, healing. So I think they might even out-heal the damage that the base is doing. Not quite, but it's enough. And Raki is a dead man, unless for some reason Carino decides to save him. I don't necessarily see that happening, because Carino will be perfectly happy to take that special region. Yeah, so, so what does a dead player mean? A dead player it's the worst case scenario for the across map person, because this guy, our Fremen champions down here, he doesn't get anything from this. Despite the fact that he's continuing to siege this down. He doesn't get anything from the ECAS dying. Vernius gets the most. Vernius is poised for some rapid expansion, sitting on some pretty good authority here. He's got Bronzo Vernius. We got a little bit of scuffling here, but there's too many Vernii. ECAS can't stop this. This is Saving Private Ryan, guys. At the very end, when there's the GI and the German soldier are wrestling and they've got the knife, and the German slowly pushes the knife into the guy at the very end, and it's horrible and it's sad and there's like nothing that could happen. And he says, shh, just let it happen. This is Vernius ever so slowly stabbing the knife into the ECAS. And he's even gone all in to finish off the ECAS army. See if you can drop the Dave chat rules. There are no rules in Dave chat. I can't afford any moderators. This is the Mighty Kenry stream. Yeah, go ahead and check out Kenry. Absolutely. I don't mind if you jump around streams. Kenry often streams his point of view. He's a right villain, and you could go tell him I said that. But we're excited that he's making this. He's making stuff happen, right? Because Carino are being really boring, and the Fremen, aside from trolling the ECAS, are also being really boring. At least Kenry's giving us stuff to talk about. Does that make the Fremen the private up him in that situation? You know, I think it does. I think it does, yeah. Vernius are Nazis. Yes, they kind of are. They kind of are. So anyways, the benefits are, because of the Bronzo allowing the 20% cheaper authority, Vernius will be able to shove his long, thick pink line all through this former ECAS territory. But I am certain that Carino will at least be able to pull Sandfall out of it, which would be a nice boon for them. Though, craft shops being obfuscated really is a nail in like the entire game plan of Carino. It hurts so bad. All right, we're back to the siege, and Rocky's a dead man. We are seeing some light, maybe pillaging. What's he doing? Yeah, okay, he's annexing there. So Fremen are just grabbing all the territory they can. So the other way that this changes the dynamic up is now there was no longer an opportunity to 3v1 someone. Welcome, Logan. Yeah, I appreciate you watching the vids, my friend. We're doing some streaming today. This is a grand finals match of the Dune Open circuit. So this is an open that anyone can sign up for, and after they do a bunch of these, then they will do an invitational where all the finalists from the open matches get to play in the invitational. Basically the world championships of Dune, and so this is a championship game to get to the world championships. So exciting stuff. Rest in peace, and Rocky, you were too good for this world. The ECAS are officially dead by the hand of the Nazi Vernii. The Fremen are winning. Yeah, they are. It's complicated, but they are for sure. If you were going to pick a position to be in, you'd pick the Fremen. So anyways, the train of thought that I had before was a dead player is going to be a big boon for Vernius, except if there's the need to, if it looks like the Fremen are going to win and, you need to crack their defenses at all costs, now you've only got Vernius and Carino that can do it. There's no third player to come in to really swing the power pendulum here, and a lot of factions are able to handle 2v1 fights. Notably, Carino does quite well in 2v1 fights thanks to a lot of their very strong AoE damage, and notably the Fremen are quite good at 2v1 fights thanks to their sneaky stealth and their AoE damage and their ability to pop up where you're not expecting them. So it's an opportunity for Vernius to gobble up a bunch of land here. Let's take a look. I gotta think he's at 15k. He's almost 10,000 hedge behind the Fremen. Maybe there's some future where Vernius and Carino team up and they go hard on the Fremen and try to actually kill the Fremen, and then it's a 1v1 between Vernius and the Carino. I mean, even if Vernius annexed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Even if Vernius annexed all 9 of the former ECAS regions, that's like 5,000 hegemony, and it would put him roughly at parity with the other players then, and still a long way away from winning. Oh dear. So the good news is we're got to see some military play here, because there's no other options for Vernius, and there's no other options for Carino either. Is anyone making absurd amounts of money? Vernius pulling in some cash. Carino actually looked like they managed to pull the most chom out of the market crash. So when when ECAS dies, their 27% of shares. Oh, you're right. We do have a little bit of aggression here. A liberate on a distant Fremen region over here. That's totally to be expected. That's not even war. That's just like a border skirmish. But yeah, oof. There wasn't. Looks like Vernius is buying up now. Who bought? Who bought? I don't even know. Maybe if I look at Vernius. Okay, so these are the Vernius buys here. Vernius bought 20 shares, 20 shares, 20 shares, 20 shares, 5 shares, 5 shares. I guess the Carino buy up actually was a while back. Carino was buying when ECAS were still alive, and that's how they got up to 19%. This is ECAS's death right here when the market crashes. So it is Vernius who's taken the most to gain of that, but Carino was making so much money out of their huge spice stockpile that they just had a lot to buy into when rates were expensive. Maybe it's a chom play for Vernius. I mean, he does get to lay claim to, you know, another 2 more spice fields, at least 2 easy spice fields that he can control. It looks like he's headed way, way north, and he's going to try and lay claim to Sandfall. I love it. Sandfall is viable too, because he has a purple line here, which will be able to bounce off the deep desert up all the way up to Sandfall. It is freed, so it's got 8 more days before he could take it. But it looks like he wants that. I'm a little surprised. And Carino busy in the west. I wouldn't be surprised if Carino headed far to the east. What is their... They're sitting on 326 authority. That is enough, I would think. Yep, it only costs them 190 to take Sandfall. I gotta think that they're gonna take exception to Vernius trying to lay claim to Sandfall. There are a couple drones up there, but not enough to fight off the Carino army who was flying up. Most of the Vernius army is sitting at the home base. We'll see. We'll see what happens up there. Fremen just hanging out. Just chilling. If I were Fremen, I think it's yeah. If you're Fremen, you gotta war someone. So the condition that the Fremen are in here is they either try to, you know, sit on the land that they've got and just wait for the next 4 spice taxes, and then maybe they'll win by default if they can last, you know, 120 days. Or you assume that people are going to 2v1 you because you're in the lead here, and you start by, you know, start a fight, kicking someone else, right? Go and start beating down Vernius, because Vernius is going to come for you eventually alongside of Carino. And if you start the fight with Vernius, then they'll be weaker by the time Carino gets around to actually coming as well. But at the same time, that can put your army out of position so that you're less likely to fight off Carino. It's tricky. Fremen 2 versus 1 Carino, because they'll have an easiest time against Vernius than Core. It's hard to say. None of these people are going to have a particularly easy time with each other. I wouldn't say any of these armies are particularly good counters for their other armies. They're all pretty evenly matched. I think Vernius is probably on the back foot. I don't know if he's got how online he is in military buffs. I don't think there's like a military factor or anything up. The Fremen have energy source here and here and here and here, and this is the volcano, isn't it? If he takes the volcano, then he's got 6 energy sources in order to use with his ceremonial caves. So you're looking at plus 30% power for your full military if he finishes off the volcano. That's pretty outrageously strong for the Fremen. Yeah, if I was the Fremen, I'd just be burning down Vernius land just for funsies. And here we go. Oh, we've got war on Vernius and an orbital strike coming in that are going to ruin their plans. It is true that Carino took exception with this rather aggressive forward settle. But A worm is coming to ruin Carino's plans. It's thumpered. Did he get proper thumpered? Yeah, I guess he did get thumpered. That's funny. That Kenry, man. You gotta love him. What a troll. I think Fremen really ought to be in somebody's back line, right? They should be fighting Carino or they should be fighting Vernius at this point in time. It's only a matter of, it's weird that it's weird that Carino and Vernius are fighting each other. It's a strange choice, but that's part of Vernius's greed. The Kenry greed here is extreme. Controlled markets on Vernius. That's the correct play since he's making crazy spice. We did get Eye of the Council, and we got a couple of assassins for the Fremen. But time keeps on slipping into the future. Fremen are up to 25.6. What is Vernius doing over here? Was he trying to take that region or just looking at it? I don't know. Fremen are booming. They're annexing a special. That's going to put them at 26, almost 27. Carino's coming back. Carino gave up on their special. They see the Fremen threat. They've been convinced that they need to act. Vernius spoke with Carino. We could see that, some text messages have been flying back and forth. This land did get captured by the Fremen, and the Fremen stealthed. So Carino can't see their army. Carino is trying to annex it themselves. We're at 27. We did a worm ride, so they get their Idli ala Krab bonus, and the Fremen are going all in. I gotta think this is a Fremen favored fight here, but it's tricky to say. They're all up in their business. If I were them, I'd be putting a little more emphasis on these riflemen rather than pulling down the conscripts. But I really love the infiltrators in the back on the artillery drones. That is key. But the Fedaykin are doing great work on the melee blob here. And even though the conscripts are blasting away, I think Carino is in trouble. Hard to say for certain. Okay, now they switched to the conscripts. They're going to tear up those. Oh, it's going to be tight, but there's still enough fades in here that they ought to clean up. Carino's also out of water and is now dying if he's not on the point. Yep, that's a lockdown for the Fremen army here. Fremen at 57 CP, Carino down to 20, 15. Yep, a solid hold by the Fremen. We still have annexing up north by Vernius, and slowly walking down south. He could cause the Fremen a lot of grief by hitting them at the opposite point. People want to see a chome market. We've got 22% on Vernius, but Carino is also rich, and they are matching him 21% here. So it's going to be real challenging for Vernius to enact the chome plan because the Carino layout, they're making just as much spice as Vernius is even. Just on the back of 3 spice fields. One's, there's just so much. You get so much off of these Urulon bonuses. 2 more crew and harvesters that are adjacent to the Imperial base. And I liked it when that wasn't capped. Back when you could have up to 8 crew if it was between 2 bases. That was fun. Will we see a Fremen win today? If so, it's a ways away still, boys. Fremen have the opportunity to take maybe this region or maybe this region for free. That's only 1,200. They need to defend themselves. They need to pay a spice tax. They need to take 2. I don't know. Maybe they got to pay 2 spice taxes. Without any passive, it's really, really tough to get over the end line of hegemony. And very shortly here, we're gonna have. Okay, we're starting to get some sieges pillaged by Kenry down there. Kenry's grabbing territory up here. We've got Fremen aggression. He is charging at Carino. The thing, and he's going to be able to bully Carino for a while here, I think. Catching his army like this is very bad for Carino. Carino was trying to rebuild, and now he's going to have to rebuild again from scratch. We'll see how... There's one mobile turret, but we'll see how well he's able to deal with some of this larger air force. Hopefully the worm doesn't eat any Fremen, because that'll be pretty bad for him. Income... Oh, no. There's a thumper that is kind of keeping away some of the... Oh, and look at this, actually. We've got border defenses up, and we've got the quad missile batteries on the borderlines here. That's going to make it quite a pain to deal with for Vernius, but Kenry will find a way. Here's another annex coming up out of the Fremen. That's going to put them over at 28. We got a spice tax in 10 days. That's going to put them at 29. We're starting to hit danger territory here. Carino leaning heavy into the Air Force, though. He did identify that a single mobile turret is not enough to solve their problems, and 5 hammers are punishing the Fremen blob. And you know, 1 mobile turret gets picked off by 5 hammers. It's not a fair trade. Mobile turrets are fabulous anti-aircraft, but 5 hammers is a lot of firepower. Vernius down here, going after the turrets, ignoring the militia entirely, just beelining straight for turrets. And, you know, because the Fremen army is way up north, getting busy. Okay, this is looking better, or looking worse for Fremen, I should say. Looking better for the forces of good, if that's who they are. Nobody assassinated. We saw Ikaz straight up murdered by a Vernius army, and with a bit of help from some friends. But the strength of Vernius are slow grind out fights, because then you get the likes of the fight engineers and your Hira Nuwa able to spam out that healing circle, able to keep your drones alive, getting a lot of value out of them even when you're far from home. So this plays to Vernius' strengths. They were able to clean up all 4 of those missile turrets. Now they're able to fight some of this heavy militia, and they took some losses there. Oh no, they're still at 65. They must be spread out. Is he out annexing stuff? We do see some assassins in the back line from the Fremen. Hoo boy, what's going on in the Landsrat, folks? Nothing exciting. Assailant centers would slow down some chone purchasing, but that's not that big of a deal. Water cellar, I don't think is that big of a deal. Is anybody... Boom. There's a lot of Fremen water. There's a fair bit of Vernius water. Vernius probably would like some water cellars. We've got a random smuggler bounty on opposition to this, so I'm going to go ahead on a limb and say agenda contracts probably will not pass. And if Vernius wants to, they could pull like 6,000 Solari out of thin air with it. Likewise, Carino could pull out 6,000 or 8,000, something like that. Ooh. But all in all, nothing too exciting here. We're waiting on a Vernius vote. There it is. Water cellars for Carino. They opted for that. Nobody voted with the bounty. Maybe the people didn't see the bounty? It's weird that Vernius opposed this. So that they made it so you could keep buying shares, but they left like 8,000 Solari on the table. Sometimes you don't pick up on, you know, it's hard to see these icons. Sometimes you don't see them, but it's very strange to me that only the minor houses voted with the bounty. Alright, whatever. It is what it is. The southern invasion of Vernius is going well because the Fremen are stretched too thin. And it looks like maybe they got wiped up here. No, they're missing. Oh, they jumped in behind because they wanted to stop this from getting taken from them. But meanwhile, Carino has jumped in ahead to take more from them. Like ships passing in the night. But now the ships are flying back. And the Fremen still don't have an answer for the 5 hammers. Oh, look at the damage that's going down from the hammer missiles, though. It's devastating. It's tearing up the Fedaykin. Oh, no. This is really bad for our Fremen. He's going to lose his southern border here. He's going to lose his northern border to the Carino as well. Oh, it's going to be a long game, ladies and gentlemen. a long, long game. Easy to miss the smug bounty when there's no smugs. Fair. It's fair. It came out of nowhere. We've got a Fremen Air Force up. Boom, there are 6 spires in the sky. Interesting, but a spire is not a hammer. We're down to 5 spires. The conscript riflemen are cleaning them up. We're down to 4 spires. The hammers are feeling just fine. Okay, they're starting to focus down. Hammers are ground attack only, I believe. I don't think they can attack air units. The Kronos, however, can and gets bonus damage to enemies, or enemy air units. This, we've got a Liberate and an Annex going down in the south. So it's a special region to Kenry. 29.4. Very close, but he's gonna lose it all. It's all gonna slip through his fingers. He doesn't have. He might chase Carino off. I don't know, perhaps, but he's not chasing He's not chasing Vernius. It's not over yet, folks. I think we're about to see Vernius set way back. However, they're still wildly ahead of everyone else. If they're able to sort of re-cement their position and get back out there. Oh, he's trying for a cheeky forward annex to see it. Oh, he lost. He lost. He was trying to annex something before the liberation went through. And if he had completed the annex, he would have won. But the liberation got off. He wasn't able to stop that in time. This one's going to get off down here, and that's going to put him way out of contention. Back to 26. And he's given up even on the forward grab. He doesn't need to do that anymore. Time to go home. Think about your choices. Robert bets $5 on Vernius. He could have won if he went for that earlier. Yeah, I think he didn't see the opportunity until too late. What about this one? Why couldn't I guess he didn't want to take this because it would be obvious? This is adjacent to his lands. It probably would have been even easier for him to get to. I don't know why that wasn't taken. But now that he's out of range of winning immediately, and he looks like he's also was admin burdened there for good measure, he's going to suffer on this southern front to Vernius. And the nature of this two-front war is also worst-case scenario for Fremen because they need to use their worm riders to travel, quickly from one spot to another. And worm riders are the worm thumpers are really annoyingly finite, or rather when they, as they regen very slowly. Looks like he's conceding the north to the Carino, and he's going to try to rally his force and attack the Fremen down south. Or not the Fremen, the Vernius. Vernius is probing. Kenry's so fun. Kenry is probing down here. He doesn't have another one set up, but he saw something fishy, so he dropped the probe. The probe, of course, will reveal stealth units. Are there any stealth units around? There are, just out of reach. Oh no. Kenry's trying to jump on the siege when the whole Fremen army is here. Oh no. You've made a terrible mistake, Kenry. Run away. Also, you were losing that siege fight. The neutral Fedaykin were beating the hell out of your army there. I feel like there ought to be more of a Vernius army. It just looks small to me. Oh, he's going in. We've got Fremen coming on to Vernius. Vernius saw it coming. They've got their healing down. As a teleport, I think, right? Nope, it's an EMP. Now there's the teleport coming. Alright, the folder relay has folded and relayed everybody out of danger there. The EMP, probably at a minus 50% attack speed, would have switched that around. Logan in chat is finally realizing the S-Vault spawn. Yes. Isn't this a hilarious spawn? The central, the polar sink was captured in day 12 of the game, right? Very funny. Where is Vernius? Vernius is up to 22k. Almost into a second place position. Oh my god, this game is gonna be suffering. It will never end. Although I gotta say, Vernius is looking better and better. Craft shops are obfuscated, in case you're joining us late, which is why we are in this fresh hell. And it looks like some Vernius Air Force also able to chase off the Fremen. The Fremen really got to go ahead and pick up a few of those extra donkeys. They need some donkey crews out there shooting guns and launching missiles, because the air power has been the bane of them. Really, if they had been able to fight off the Carino Hammer Force better, they might have won the game. But yeah, this is a really beneficial game state for Vernius. That said, there's still 8,000 hegemony off of victory, something like that. We do have another smuggler bounty per vote on House Vernius. The smugglers want Vernius to be the judge of the council. Or architectural surveys. Who wants to kill a base? Who wants to kill a base? Oh, they voted. Okay. We got truces with everybody, courtesy of Carino. Judge of the council, courtesy of everybody taking some bounty. And not architectural surveys. Vernius holds the line down south. The truce, I think, means this is not going to complete, right? Right? Non-aggression pact. Oh, did that complete? That's weird. Maybe I'm confused. Non-aggression pact is currently up between... Oh, they're at war. He must have declared war, like, immediately? Because, right? We did just get elected... Oh, elected faction. I thought it was all factions for a second. My mistake. Yep. It was only Vernius that got pieced out. Carino did not get pieced out, so they were able to continue their war here. We've still got the chunky Carino Air Force. We do have 2 mobile turrets. Not enough. I mean, the thing about mobile turrets is they're decent enough just plinking away with their handguns. You know, 21 power, 5 attack speed. The Fedaykin are 24 power, 3 attack speed. You get more DPS out of your mobile turrets, just shooting people with their pistols. You know, that doesn't count, of course, the armor pen of the Fedaykin and the AoE damage. But still, the point being, mobile turrets are perfectly capable as fighters. And we're going. He used the worm ride forward to get his Idli Alakrab bonus. And he's going in with the Chani Alpha Strike, and it's going real well. He is tearing a hole through the infantry of Carino here. Will he be able to resist the hammers? The hammers are going straight on to the mobile turrets. Oh no, I think the hammers are winning that fight too. One hammer about at half, both mobile turrets at half. He needs to micro it out. Oh, you could have microed it out. One hammer down, but I think both mobile turrets are down, and that is going to be the death of this push, because skirmishers cannot fight off hammers. And I don't think he can afford to just have his army blasted by 4 hammers here nonstop. He was forced to scan it with a probe setup to be able to see guys to shoot at. But look at the damage again. Even just 4 hammers are able to just rain hell on this Vernius army. Oh, it hurts. It hurts to watch. More donkeys. The answer is more donkeys, Levi. Get to it. What's Vernius up to? Vernius is just grabbing territory. He is annexing stuff in the backfield. Oh boy. I'm gonna tell you what, boys. I think I'm gonna take a break to go to the bathroom, because we are not moving towards a victory anytime soon here. We are nigh upon month 10, and the Fremen head is only going down. What is going on here? Is this Vernius Landsrad guards trying to take the Great Volcano? Is that a thing? Is he maybe trying to pillage it so other people can't take it? I would love that even more. Nope, Carino is at war with Vernius. He doesn't want Vernius over here. Carino's gonna lay claim to that. Vernius army is in their backfield. Yeah. We're gonna see a little more skirmishing, I'm gonna leave the map roughly like this. The only loser in this game is Day's Bladder, right? I'm trying to stay hydrated so that my voice keeps working for you guys, but it's working against me in other ways. All right, chat has allowed me to go pee, so I will be back. I think this is a nice wide angle view. I ought to let you see anything that's going on. Carino laying claim to the mountain, Vernius moving into territory, Fremen rebuilding, Davok going to pee. Be right back. All right, I'm back. What did we miss? Literally nothing. Maybe not, that's not true. Carino at 26.5, Fremen at 26.5, that's interesting. Loss of rights, perhaps, to undo all of Vernius' hard work. Eye of the Council is up, but that's already a Vernius charter there. Or the elected faction has some Harkonnen taint. All these random factions throwing stuff in. Minus 50% Solarigo. Let's take a look at the Cho market. Vernius has climbed to 33%. He is sitting on, oh my god, look at this. Deep, deep red for the Fremen. They're winning some of the battles, but they're losing the economic war here. I guess they don't want, I guess they don't need any more tech, maybe. They've got all the tech they really want, so I think, is there any other malices to being in the red other than not being able to research? That's an interesting question. There it is. Solar. Oh, you can't heal or recruit mechanical units. Units will desert and buildings will break until the deficit is resolved. I feel like that's an old tool tip. I don't think units will desert and buildings will break, but I could be wrong. Is it true? Maybe. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time on Solari deficits if I could help it, so I'm missing a fight. Sorry. We got a battle. Carina, I was reading, I was just hanging out, there's not a lot going on. We clearly have a Vernius and a Carino dent off up top. Vernius thought that some of this Carino special territory was properly Vernius special territory, and it's going in Vernius' favor for the moment. We're seeing some fantastic Vernius play from Kenry here, making lemonade out of his lemon starting position. He's gonna get the annex on the special here, the space wreck. He is at 24, so that will put him at parity with the Fremen, but the Fremen are about to jump into danger zone again by taking this. What's our spice at? 10 days for spice? Oh, I don't know, guys. You might want to check out the Fremen here. 1,600 plus 1,200 for paying your spice tax. Ooh, I don't know, guys. It's going to be kind of close for the Fremen again suddenly, even though he's negative 1,600. 28. He's going to get 12 from... Well, can he pay the spice tax? I assume he can, yes. He is expected stocks to hit the spice tax. Oh, I don't know. It might still be a bit too far for him, actually. Unless he was able to take that southern one somehow. Taking another a normal region is not enough. He's going to get 12k from the spice tax. That's going to put him at 29.3. He doesn't have any passive to help with. 600 here puts him at 29.9. That's not enough. That's not enough. He needs to take this special down here for a win. He's just too far. Or he takes this one and that one, 2 non-specials, which might even be easier because you could kind of sneak in with stealth units and cap them within a day or two. Vernius still busy up here. Carino rebuilding his army. No one's looking at the Fremen. 6 days on the spice tax. Everybody's gonna hit their tax. Fremen got money somehow. Vernius wanted to trade. Declined to trade. People declined trades with the Fremen. Did the Fremen have any shares to sell, maybe? How'd the Fremen get their money? Sold 20 shares. Sold 20 shares. Yep, they sold off a bunch of shares they had. That's how they got back in the green. So he is going for the normal regions. 1 is not enough, unless my math is off. He needs 2. He needs 1 more after that. He's going to be like 29.9, and then he's going to sit there while everyone comes to murder him. Only 100 authority. This one up here is 248. If you wanted the special down there, it's 171. I think the Fremen are going to, once again, fly too close to the sun. Unless the numbers are just off just a little bit. No, he's going to be like 40 short, unless I'm crazy. Right? Spice tax in 2 days is going to put him at like 29.50. 2 days, yeah. Very close to a spice tax. Nobody's on him, but I don't think it's enough. He doesn't have any passive, right? He has 1 passive, +1. This is not quite enough. He is on top of Vernius. We've got Vernius, Fremen battling, Carino coming in the backfield. This is not good for the Fremen. They don't really want to be battling. They want to be annexing something else. 149. Could this be annexed? No, but it's 260. That's still too expensive for him. There's nowhere for him to come up with the extra 50 hedge that he needs. Spice in 0 days, 29.9, unless I'm wrong. And I'm never wrong. There it is. 29.9 for the Fremen. It is not quite enough. 29,959. If he can hold for 40 more days, his +1 will get him there. But we've got Carino in the backfield already. Oh, that's why you do the math, folks. That's why you gotta do the math, or you end up in situations like this. He's so mad right now. He's so mad. Vernius at 27. If they're able to... It looks like Vernius took the worst end of that fight. He's rebuilding. There's still a chunky Fremen force left. But what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? He's gotta fight off both fronts. He either holds for another spice tax, which is 22 days, or more likely he could do his secret grab up there, and maybe that's what he's thinking of. Although this is coming along, this is going to be done in 2 days. I think he needed to already be up here and he doesn't have the authority for it yet. Yep, he's just wasn't quite enough. He's just stuck in a hard place there. Tax gives a default of 1,000 hegemony, and then if your main base has a research center, it's plus 20%, so it would give you 1,200 hegemony. Taking over a region always gives you 600. Taking over a special region always gives you 600 plus 1,000. So there's, a lot of ways to get hedge, but usually the extra that puts you over the limit that you need, you just got to hold out for a few more days, is the passive hedge. And we have no passive. Regarding passive hedge, we have no passive hedge. Because it got obfuscated a million years ago by Vernius when the world was young and there was still happiness. We think there could be a Vernius spike in the background. He's sitting on 300. I think probably his problem is likely that... Okay, what do we get? Oh, we got portfolio scrutiny on Vernius. So there goes the Chome win condition. Speaker of the Council for Carino is a very powerful position, but he's not gonna get governor, right? He's not gonna get governor. There goes that. There goes Vernius's, there goes the hopes and dreams of the Fremen. 34 hedge away from victory, and then liberate. Well, it's not getting liberated. No, it is. It is. He's dying. And there's the front line also getting burned down by Vernius there. A Vernius annex on a special. Now here's an interesting one. Fremen are gonna be fairly screwed. Vernius plus 16 is suddenly at 28.8. Vernius would win on a tax. Tax is still 16 days away. That's a long time for Carino to see the danger here. It was Fremen's game to lose. Well, it was tough. I don't fault any of the Fremen choices here. He got incredibly close twice, and it was just ever so much not close enough, right? He was right there. If one more day had passed before Vernius obfuscated craft workshops, then Fremen have won the game, right? One day. If he had one more day of his passive hedge cook, it's over, and it's a Fremen victory. But it was not to be. Fault Vernius for killing Ekaz. I mean, killing Ekaz was the best thing that ever happened to Vernius. It wasn't good for the Fremen. The Fremen probably should have been poking at Vernius's backside while the Ekaz were getting murdered. I mean, everyone's... It's hard to say. I was going to say everyone's armies are somewhat trading reasonably well into each other. The thing is, there's enough parity that people are kind of winning in defensive situations, but then sort of losing in offensive situations, except when, they 2v1 the Fremen here, and he's just having a hard time getting back up to his 65 CP. We do have Carino up in the north. This is good for them. They need to hold this. They need to get that airfield down ASAP. Vernius sees the danger, but he's not really in position to get back up there and save it immediately. He wants to get this liberate off to give himself a little more breathing room against the Fremen. He does have victory on tax, which is 10 days away, but this sucker here is probably about 4 days from getting liberated. So he would need to, I don't know, maybe fold a relay up on top of him? What do we've got an orbital strike ready for Carino. Vernius, for victory, needs to stop the Carino offensive to the north. There's still enough time for the Fremen also to cause him trouble. There it is. Folder relay right on top of Carino. Carino got overextended. He's out of water. Oh no. This is giving it to Vernius. Carino overextended, took heavy supply damage, and the Vernius army is going to win this fight now. He did drop a rapid missile strike on it, but it didn't do enough damage to Vernius. Oh dear. Okay, but I mentioned there was enough time. And as if the Fremen are able to clear this out, 7 days on spice tax. Fremen are annexing there. Vernius needs to clean up here, which he is doing. Folder relays on cooldown. There's no airport here or here. There's no airports at all. There's no way for the Vernius army to get back home to stop the Fremen. Oh, no. He needs an airport. He needs it yesterday. Neural node going up here. You don't need a neural node, my man. You need an airport. Build an airport. 5 days on the spice tax, but this is probably 3 days out from annex. Where you going, Fremen? You definitely want to be sitting on there. You can't afford to lose any time. That's kind of the whole game hinges on you taking this in the next couple days here. Folder relay cooldown is 4 days. That's too long. That's not going to get home in time. Airfield's starting to go up. That's 3 days. That's too long. Airfield over here in 2 days, maybe. 2 days might be enough. Is there an airfield here? Where could he fly to? No, his other airfield, he could fly to roughly here. I think it's still too far. I think it's just gonna get cleared again. He's got to wait for the airfield to finish, done in 1 day. He's got to fly down to this airfield here, and he's got to chase the Fremen off before this finishes. No, the margins are too thin, I think. Unless he can get like a guy on, like a mercenary on there to delay the cap. Go delay the cap, Kenry. You just need time. I think it's gonna get it. There it is. Well, alright, Capt. Vernius is not gonna win on spice tax. Spice tax in 0 days. Here comes the Vernius army, just by a hair. Misses it. Yeah, Ikaz eventually died to the slow siege of Vernius. Where's Jessica when you need her? Jessica doesn't work here anymore. She got fired. Oh my goodness, this game is ridiculous. 27.7 on the Fremen, 27.2 on the Vernius. Governorship is in play. It's between Carino and the Fremen. Fremen don't really have a chance, but the Fremen could sway it one way or another. I think it's in Vernius's best interest to get the Fremen voted into governorship, because 2 factions are eligible for it. It has to go to one of them. You can't decline it in this situation. So it would make, and Vernius is not eligible for it. They don't have enough Landsrat standing. So it makes sense for Vernius to put their votes into Fremen to keep it out of the Carino hands. Carino, of course, has Speaker of the Council, which is dangerous, making it potentially possible that if they won, they might be able to keep it from being voted on again. The counterplay to that is, of course, voting up the Dune governorship charter itself so that it comes back on. But nobody's got a ton of influence to work with. Vernius is sitting on 200 base votes, but Carino's sitting on like 50% more. Do Gov wins ever win anymore? I gotta tell you, I have not seen a Gov win in a long time. No nukes so far. True. Correct. Nobody's nuked anyone, and they probably should have. If Vernius had nukes ready, he wins the game there. Fremen cannot get nukes, so it wouldn't have helped them. But yes, if Vernius had been able to nuke that territory, they would have won. The things that could have been. We have a Dune governorship for Corino. Chome shares. What's going on with the Chome market? 36% on Vernius, 27 on Carino. Carino's sitting on 14K though, and Vernius has nothing. I don't think it's a Chome win. Spice tax was just paid out. The next tax would win on the Fremen. Oh, the Fremen have immediate victory on this annex right here. This might be the game. This might be the game. It's about to come online, just freed, and it's going to be about 1 day they have to react to it. Nope, I think it's a Fremen win. Vernius sees it. There's an EMP here to slow him down. It's moving quickly. There's a orbital strike from Carino. Carino's out of position. He can't come help. Fremen are trying to slow down the invaders. Oh, but he got pulled off the point. Oh no! Go back to the point. But now it's contested by Vernius. So now Fremen have to properly win this battle. It's not an instant victory like it was almost. Oh, Vernius has taken some bad beats here though. It's not a good connection for him. The orbital strike is just hitting everyone equally. Now it's starting to see like it's orbital strike and maybe more of the Fremen. The Fremen are getting the worst of it. Oh my god, the Fremen are wiped out. Now if Vernius takes it, it's an instant Vernius victory as well. Where the hell are you, Carino? Get down here. Carino is taken up here and they're under a storm. And they're not on an airfield. Carino can't do anything about it. It's a Vernius victory. If Vernius gets this annex, it's 1600 for an annex, and they're at 28.4. It's exactly how much they need. Fremen are contesting it. They've ran some sneaky invisible guys onto the point to slow him down. The Kronos is here, but the Carino isn't. I don't know. Isn't responding to the threat quite in time. Is it still? No, it is not progressing because the assassin is here. Right? It's frozen. It's in a state of non-progression because the assassin is sitting on the point, making it contested, and Vernius does not see the assassin. Son of a bitch. Does he have a probe setup? A probe setup is coming. He'll be able to probe the assassin to see it, and then. Oh, what are you doing? No, get back to the assassin. No, go back. Go back. Okay, assassin's back in. Oh my god. All this has to do is complete. Carino is starting to send some guys back. Oh, there's not enough men. It's a Vernius win, guys. There's not enough Fremen to contest this. Carino at 29.4. They only need 600. But more important, can they annex this one before? Nope, this got scanned and now there it is. There it is. It's a Kenry win on Vernius, right? No, it's not. It's not because Carino finished their cap up north. It's not a Kenry win. Oh my god, what is happening? 29 on anybody who takes just about anything. No, Carino could take anything. This is a Carino win here now. If Carino grabs this neutral one, does he have the authority for it? 226. This costs him 209. He can do it. That's a Carino win there if it doesn't get stopped. Vernius teleported out. Vernius teleported to the back line. They're going to try and take neutrals. But this is the oh, here comes the worm. Vernius saw it in time. He's going to try and contest it. Oh, there's only 5 skirmishers, though. They're going to get stomped. I think it's a Carino win now? Jeebus criminy. Carino's going to win in like 1 day. Vernius is marching up north, but there's not enough time. This is a Carino win right here. Fremen already shot their shot and didn't get it. Holy, no, oh, Vernius has ran a mercenary on it. That's it. That's it. Carino wins. I am magic. The Padishah Emperor Shaddam. Holy moly. What a game, ladies and gentlemen. Need a long drink of water after that one. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'm sorry I didn't get to read any chat there because there was like a lot going on. Carino played the most relaxed game ever. I gotta say, I thought Carino was just out of it. Once the craft shops got obfuscated, oh my lord, where's the hegemony at? There's the steady decline. Does it tell us when craft shops got obfuscated? It must have been right around here, because see, everyone's kind of climbing up and then it's just flat. And we're climbing up right up until about month 5-ish, and then there's just a flat line very slowly all the way over. Wow, I really thought Vernius had it, but the assassin from the Fremen standing on the point invisible and contesting the siege, which honestly is kind of some BS, right? That a stealthed assassin can stand there and stop you. If it was a stealthed other military unit, it would have unstealthed automatically and you'd have been able to see it and kill it. But for some reason the assassin doesn't do that. That might be a bug even, I don't know. But that slowed Vernius down from capping long enough for the Carino to decap the north, or rather to capture the north. So once Vernius actually got their cap done, it was too late, and there was that one free region. That was the GOAT Dune game. That was a hell of a Dune game there, man. Unless you were ECAS, in which it was a horrible, awful Dune game that you would never want to play again. Although he did get to duck out 5 or 6 months early and save himself a lot of time. Oh my lord, that was bananas. If we look at our developments, that's about as expected with Vernius there. We capped out right around 59, 60-ish knowledge for Vernius. We had a lot, 33 on Carino was quite a bit. Economy, Solari production, nobody was making a lot. I'm amazed that, like, look at the chum shares. Look at how much ECAS were able to get up to like 30%. And they were not making that much more than everybody else. They were making like 200 when other people were making 50, which is, you know, is good, but they were really able to turn that into an awful lot of shares, you know, until they died. Devek, will you do an advent guide for Sins 2? I will. I'll do it at the very least. I'm going to do a deep dive for the advent like I've done with the other ones. I don't do proper Sins guides because I'm not quite as an expert at Sins as I am at Dune. Let's look at hegemony. Yeah, that's about what we all watched hegemony in painful detail. Allied sieges. Politics was not really a thing. I mean, Carino was 15 days away from winning on politics, so that's interesting. Influence production. None of that tells me anything. We had the huge early Fremen armies that didn't really do anything. No. I don't even know what to tell you there. Poor ECAS just gets bullied and, you know, gets 3v1'd and then just slowly murdered by, slowly strangled by the Vernius. Everybody else just sits at max capacity and doesn't do anything for 2-3 months. Finally, people start fighting, but it's really no one gets the best of things. If anything, Vernius really took the least losses in so much of this, but to be fair, it was a lot of Carino and Fremen fighting at first. Just brutal to watch. Kenry just griefed me because the other two players have feet for hands. That's a valid take, Inraki. It's a valid take. I would say in Kenry's defense, griefing you did put him in a much better position, and it eventually allowed him to threaten the win, but yeah, if the Fremen had just bought you more time, I think the Fremen probably could have coasted to a safer victory themselves. It is what it is, my friend. Sometimes these things happen. We had at the very final end 30,100 on Carino, 29,000 on the Fremen, 29,000 on the dot for Vernius. 39% shares on Vernius, but 30% on Carino. Wow. What a game. Whew. What a game. I think that was a lot of Dune Spice Wars. That game took forever. I think we might take a break. I'm gonna get myself some food. The interesting thing is I still have the rest of my evening open, and I'm wondering if I've got the stamina for more streaming of something, but maybe we wouldn't do Spice Wars. Let me noodle it over. But if another stream or something pops up later, don't be shocked. Maybe we'll just do a chill stream. Maybe we'll build a factory or something and just relax, because this has been stressful for me. It's been stressful even to watch and talk about. This is the last game. That is victory for iMagic for the third Dune Open on the Dune circuit. I think the plan is that was the last Open, and the next one will be an invitational, something along those lines. There's a Dune circuit Discord you could follow along, or I don't know where else they post stuff. Somewhere around. I know it a lot of times Cream as a streamer on his YouTube channel, his Twitch channel. Kenry is almost always involved in those, so I'm sure if you follow Kenry's channel at all, he will show you when stuff's going on. I try to catch him when I can. I'm not affiliated with the Dune Circuit folks, but I try to also stream them because they're great gameplay. A lot of fun. What a day. What a lot of spice. Hope you guys like that. Boy, that one was sweaty. Whew. Glad I wasn't in that match. That would have been suffering, pain and suffering. All right, thanks, lads. I'll be back. We'll be back. We'll do some more before too long, but this will be the end of our Dune stream for the day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me. Appreciate you all. I know I missed so much in chat. Chat was firing off like crazy because there was crazy stuff happening in the game, and there's too much for me to talk about to come back and check on the messages. You know, we had an incredibly relaxed first 5 or 6 months, and then we had like 2 or 3 months of nothing, and then it was just insanity for those last couple of months of play. Just crazy. But that's it. We're calling it here. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.